Hello, welcome to the latest Speccy Experience stream. Sorry, Martin told me to go into a voice like that, and I can't keep the voice that long for that much length of time, so I'm going to stick back to my normal voice. But hopefully it's woken up a lot of people. Welcome everyone to the third Speccy Experience stream. It's been, I can't actually remember the date of our last one. Was it late? When was the last one? Was it late?
It must have been about 4 weeks ago, mustn't it?
About 4 weeks ago, yeah, I think so.
It was about
Hopefully,
4 weeks. Yep.
Hopefully everyone can hear us. We've got ZX Face straight in saying hello. So hello, ZX Face. I will try to keep up with my the comments tonight. This is the second time ever I'm doing sort of like stream on PowerPoint and also StreamYard. So bear with me. Sometimes I might be a bit slow, but I will try my best. Anyway, welcome to the third Speccy Experience live stream. I'm your host, Doughnut Doney. And of course, I've got Martin and Sam here. Martin and Sam, hello to you both.
Hello.
Good afternoon, or good evening even, not good afternoon.
It does feel like it's been a long day. In fact, it feels like it's night time, I think, for me, rather than evening time. I've been watching the kids all day.
Oh,
technically it's nighttime. Yeah,
it is nighttime. Yes, you're not too bad.
When does evening become night?
About 6-ish, I guess, something like that. 5, 6-ish. Good question, actually.
Or is that the end of afternoon and the beginning of evening?
Now, you all may notice our fourth musketeer is missing tonight. Poor Tez. Tez is actually at work. So we send our hellos to Tez, of course, and he will keep in chat, I think, for a little bit, but he's apologized for not being at work. But as Tez is here, we're going to say big congrats to him for reaching 2,000 subscribers this week. Well deserved, mate. And
well done, Tez.
And let's get you up to 5K by the end of tonight. No, well done, mate. Well deserved. And Tez will actually be back on. Actually, we've got a stream, would you believe it, next week. The fourth stream is actually next week. It's very unusual having two streams so close together, but we're going to have the fourth stream next week. I'll talk more about that towards the end of this one, obviously, where Tez is going to be the host because I can't make it. So again, well done, Tez, for reaching 2K, and don't work too hard. 2010 now. Oh, he's gone up by 10 already. See, it's working. It's working. So we're going to get 5K, aren't we? No, well done, mate. Anyway, Martin, hand it over to you about the actual group. Anything going on?
Well, a few things. Thanks for the intro, Mark. And nice to see everyone here. Both of you, at least. So the updates, let's see, for the last few weeks on the Speccy Experience. So we obviously had a fairly major milestone a couple of weeks back, which was hitting 5,000 members, which was nice. Was quite unexpected in that time frame that we had. Thank you very much. But obviously that's to all of us because it's a group effort. So yes, so 5,000 was very nice, and we've actually just hit 5,500 as of this evening as well, which means we've had another 500 members in just under 2 weeks.
Wow, that's amazing.
Which is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And thank you all for joining and participating in the Speccy Experience. And let's see if we can get to, well, what's the next one? 10.
10 would be the next one, yeah.
10 would be the nice one, wouldn't it? When do we think? Let's have a...
These bets.
Let's have a guess, because I guess 5K would take till mid-March before.
Yeah.
But I was proven wrong.
I'm going to say, well, I don't know. Yeah, so it's been, what? How long now? How long have we been going to get to 5,000? 6 months? Losing track.
Like that, yeah.
About 6 months. Yeah.
So at the rate that we've accelerated, I feel like we need to have a graph drawn somewhere to figure this out. But it's certainly ought to be quicker than another 6 months on that basis, maybe 3, something like that. So we're
I'd
late.
say 1st of June.
Yeah, that's
1st of
about
June
right.
as a target.
That's an
Tight, I know.
ambitious target, Mark. We shall see. We shall see.
We'll soon find out in
But
June.
not impossible.
Right.
Not impossible. not an impossible mission, I feel.
I think a lot of it is down to, well, in the hands of the Facebook algorithm gods. and of course, everyone's hard work here. But
you didn't pick up on the game.
The game?
The game. I said it's not an impossible mission.
Oh,
dearie.
Sorry, too quick.
But yeah, so that's
where we're. I know. But that's where we are, group wise. Everything else remains the same. The boys are all the same. You know, we continue.
It's
Sam.
great seeing. Sorry, yeah, Sam. Have you got anything to add, please?
I don't think I do in particular, other than it's been a very busy couple of weeks in terms of subscribers. Great to see everyone in the group. Looking forward to our guest tonight.
Yeah.
What other things have happened? Yeah, it's definitely been a long day for me. Nice to relax into a more comfortable situation with no children in the room for the rest of the evening.
We can misbehave if you want us to tell us off, Sam. So you can be the Mr. Police Enforcer tonight if you want. It's up to you entirely, but probably not needed.
It's a funny thing because I'm generally quite a relaxed person. Before I had kids, I never really would have thought that I would be moved to get angry with anyone. But yeah, it's amazing what kids will do.
Amazing the emotions they can bring out in you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a roller coaster. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, specky wise, I don't think I've got anything else to add right now.
No, maybe Mark wants to give us an idea of what is planned for this evening.
So what's planned for tonight then? Well, we have got a very important guest. I can see him in the chat, so I will say lovely things about him, of course. We got Mr. Mason, of course, who I met at Crash Live. I know him before then, of course, because I got quite a lot of his books. We'll be talking to him about his books and everything else that Graeme Mason's doing, so that'd be amazing. And then he can join us for the rest of the stream. And then after that, we will be going through last week it was the Load ZX Spectrum Awards in Portugal, and the big kind of, I would say, the ultimate homebrew awards of the world is that one. And we'll be going through all the winners and talking about the winners again, anyone's opinions. Of course, chat, you're open to ask us any questions as well. And then if we got time for, last week we didn't get the chance to finish the best of games. So we'll look at the best of games and the honorable mentions, and I will put one worst game in that list as well, because it's a certain worst game that Mr. Mason picked. And as he's our guest tonight, he could talk about it. Graeme probably doesn't know anything about that. I hope Graeme's actually watching the stream. So that's what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do is, we're reaching that time now. I'm going to invite Graeme on and talk about him, talk about the stream with him, what he's doing. And then also, yes, I'm afraid to say, everyone, we have got Death by PowerPoint again, but it worked so well last week that I want to show people all the good stuff that Graeme does, and his dreams books, his nightmare books, and various other things. So let's invite Graeme in. So hopefully this will work. Graeme.
Oh, shit. Can't hear you. Shit, sorry. Hold on.
Let's pretend we're talking, everyone. No, we're not that. Houston, we have a problem.
Should we do some elevator music in the meantime?
I've got
tall and tan and dark and lovely. The girl from Ipanema goes walking. Mm-hmm.
Does chat want me to kick Sam out?
Just Just an interesting choice there, Sam. I don't know where that quite came from. But...
I don't know. It just popped into my head. Yeah, seemed like suitable elevator music.
Gives me good time actually to get ready the PowerPoint thing for private. Hold on a second. Yeah, Graeme still can't hear us, which is a bit strange. Try to put your volume up. Your mic volume, I'll put it on maximum, Graeme. Okay, he can't actually see us. So if you guys want to chat for a bit, I'll try to see if I can do anything.
We could talk about the. I know we're going to be talking about the Game Awards a bit later.
Yeah,
I was just watching. It's quite a long show. I think it was over 3 hours, which I didn't quite find the time to watch. But I watched a few minutes and did a bit of fast forwarding, and it looked like a really, slick show, nicely presented. Is anyone else here? I guess.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it live. I saw it live.
Nice,
I thought it was well presented.
Have you told Graeme we can see and hear him?
Yeah.
Just
so he knows.
I'm not sure he's aware. This does actually remind me, just before the live stream, whilst we were eating, we put on Beatles About, which randomly popped up on ITV Player. We'd been watching Britain's Got Talent, and then that finished, and we saw Beatles About. So it's a similar kind of retro era to Speccy's, isn't it? But it feels like watching Graeme in his room, unaware that we're all watching him.
Now twice.
Similar to.
Now we jump.
There we go. Double vision.
Can you hear us there? Can you hear us, Graeme?
I can see you guys, but I can't hear you.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's progress.
I'll just check the my stream to make sure, because I've got the stream on my phone, just to make sure you can hear us. Yeah, I can definitely hear me. Can someone else just talk briefly for a sec so I can hear you on my phone?
Should I do more elevator music? No.
Yes, we'll do more elevator music, Sam. Something a bit more up tempo.
Yeah. We're all fine on the stream. So
challenge.
Graham's dropped off, so.
Yeah, tell Graeme to exit and come on again.
Yeah, sometimes turning off and on again is the.
It's the IT fix, isn't it? Have you tried turning it off and on again? Yeah.
Yeah, made famous in the IT crowd, but having worked in IT for many years myself, I think that's a common fix.
One thing he could do, he could put a stream on TV or something. I know it's going to be a bit of a delay, but at least he'd be able to hear us. But it might be a bit of like a 10-15 second delay though.
We could see and hear him though, so it could well be his side.
Yeah, people can definitely hear us on the stream at the moment, so it's all right. We got time, so I could always move
time. We're not at the dancing phase yet. We don't need to somebody to get up and start dancing.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Desperate times. I don't know what's worse, dancing or.
Especially since we don't have Ted. He's normally the comedy relief.
It says my mic is working.
Well, yeah, I don't think it can be you because we can all hear and speak. Okay.
We can hear and speak. Yeah. Just hear us. So hold on. Let's see if I can get back on.
I still can't hear. Sorry.
Oh. Well.
Yeah, we can hear you, but you obviously can't hear me saying that. So maybe you can lip read.
Okay. I'll type in.
I would say to Graeme, check his audio output device, whatever it is, make sure it's the stream and not his default settings.
Okay.
Because it's just odd we can see and hear him.
Yeah, the mic is fine because we can hear you. Again, I'm still saying you. You can't hear me.
Can't see anything in the options to help. No, this means his actual computer settings, I mean.
You can hear me now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could always hear you.
That's true. But I guess you still can't hear us. Hello? Mr.
Yes,
Mason?
finally. I'm back.
Hey!
I was going to say, Houston, we've got a problem.
I don't know, I appeared twice there for a moment as well. So it had a double dose of me visually, but still no sound. So sorry about that. I don't know what I was doing wrong, but anyway, I'm here now.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Adds to the build-up. It's exciting.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
makes it more intense, this special guest.
Hello, Mark. Hello, Mart. And hello, Sam. Pleased to meet you guys.
Yeah, likewise.
Hey.
Hello, Graeme.
How you doing, Graham? How's life with you? Welcome to the Speccy Experience Stream 3.
Thank you very much. Did you guys know that it's the Brit Awards tonight? You're dragging me away from.
Yeah.
No.
He says with a smile. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember why the 1989 Brit Awards was particularly good for Spectrum fans?
And was it the one with Sam Fox and Fleetwood? Mick Fleetwood?
It was. Yeah.
It was the first proper one. It was an absolute disaster.
It was terrible. Poor old Sam, I think. Well, and Mick Fleetwood, of course, were kind of sold up the river, I think, a little bit by that one. But yeah,
it was a horrendously mismatched duo, shall we say? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. For that then.
Well, she did a lot better with Sam Fox strip poker, didn't she?
Oh. That game is always mentioned in our group at frequent moments. Especially, they've done a revamp of it as well.
It's usually by Tez.
Usually by Tez, yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
I know he's a fan.
Graham has his settings set to Commodore.
Oh, I see. That's why they sounded like.
Sam Fox is hosting.
I thought you were looking a bit blocky.
Nice one, Tez.
But anyway, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So what's going to happen is that we're going to talk to you. I've got a Graeme Mason special PowerPoint presentation already. We're going to go through it. Nothing too bad, don't worry. We're going to go through that, talk about what you're doing and what you've got planned in the future. Maybe a bit about Crush Live as well, because we both attended that. And then we'll go through the Load ZX Spectrum Awards, which was done last week, which is, I would say, probably the biggest homebrew awards of the year, because I haven't seen many other homebrew awards done. So that one definitely, and it was so well presented last week. Congrats to the guys doing that, by the way. It was very good, enjoyable to watch. That's one of my big aims, is go to see their museum in Portugal, actually. So we'll be talking about that. And then we'll go through the second half of the best games we all nominated the last stream. And we will also go through, because Graeme did nominate a worst game as well. So as he's here, we're going to talk about that. And obviously, most of the stream is going to be with Graeme. So you're welcome to stay with us after your bit. Hope you do anyway. And hopefully we'll be over by famous last words, because what time did we finish last time? Quarter to 11.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
We meant to finish at 10. So it went so well. We just carried on.
I think it was some combination of us waffling and the PowerPoint. Just kind of
we had a lot to show. So I've put down the PowerPoint a little bit this time, honest. So the first thing I'm going to do, obviously I'm still new to StreamYard, is to add the PowerPoint presentation. Oh wow, it's more than the PowerPoint. So this is in honor of our special guest today. This is going to help you basically with what you're going for, your chat. The last stream was a multi-loader. Yeah, it was. And we've got someone from Uruguay. Hello, Uruguay.
Wow. Uruguay.
Wow.
Amazing.
We're definitely going into touch. Hello, Uruguay. Hope you're well.
Hello,
what
Richard.
time is it over there? So, again, I'm going to try to move things up here. That's it. Graham's up the top of my screen, so I'm hoping. Oh, no, that'll do. See what's the best screen actually, because I've got only 2 screens on my setup. I've got about 4 or 5 little windows now trying to select. So it's a little bit. I feel like I'm the blinking BBC here. There we go. So, Mr. Mason, welcome. Welcome to my PowerPoint presentation. It's death by PowerPoint. Hopefully not too bad. Martin and Sam, please chip in whenever you want to.
I'll chip in now, actually, just to say that you somehow predicted that Graeme was going to have a double image on the screen at the start there.
Yes, it's all part of the plan.
Yeah.
And that picture was taken in Highlands Park in Chelmsford, which is a lovely big park we've got in Chelmsford. We're very lucky to have, and yeah, obviously on a wintry day similar to today, I took a selfie of myself.
Looks like it should be an album cover.
Yeah, yeah, I do look like I'm in some sort of indie band in the 90s, don't I? But yeah.
Live on stage, it's Graeme Mason singing his next hit, Windy Woods.
Hopefully with the sound working.
That would help. Right, so first thing, obviously, we're going to talk about is things that I know that Graeme's been associated with, and it's the books. We're going to first talk about the ZX Dreams books, the volume 1, and now volume 2. There's now 2 volumes of this. So, Graeme, how did it all start? There we go. Sam's got it. I've got it behind me. So
excellent. That's what I like to see. It all started actually not with Dreams, but with ZX Nightmares about 10 years ago, I think it was. It started off as a sort of an idea. I think the title might have come first before anything else. I just thought ZX Nightmares sounded like a cool title. So I've always had. I mean, you guys, you must have known all the magazines back in the day, yeah, like Crash. Yeah, I remember one month, just on a tangent, I bought Crash, Your Sinclair User, ZX Computing, which some people like, but was a bit like an also ran, and Computer and Video Games, CMVG, all in one month. I think it must have been my birthday or something, because I was obviously didn't usually have all this money for all these magazines, and it came to about £5. Buying all these magazines, and these days you can't even buy one issue of Retro Gamer for £5. So it shows you how things have changed. But yeah, my favorite, like a lot of people's, was Crash, and a lot of Crash was about the reviews, and they were a lot more critical, because obviously they used, in the early days anyway, they used like school kids, mainly schoolboys, I imagine, to review their games, and these kids, like, they told it how they saw it, really. So I would always turn to the reviews in Crash first. And the first reviews you'd look at, obviously, would be the Crash smashes. You'd want to see what the best games were, etc., etc. And then you'd have a look maybe at a couple in the high 80s and that. And then I never looked at any of the middling games. I wasn't interested in those. What I wanted to read about was the games that Crash were absolutely slagging off, like giving a right pummeling to. And they did it quite often. There'd usually be 1 or 2 at least in every issue, usually a Mastertronic game or something like that in the early days when Mastertronic weren't so good. And this kind of sort of stayed with me for a long time, and I got the idea of writing about bad games for an article that I did for Eurogamer on this game, the famous Squidge, which I'm sure you're all aware of.
Yeah.
Yes.
We talked about it last time.
Yeah, I interviewed the guy that wrote the Spectrum version, and also the guy that wrote the Commodore 64 original, on which it was nominally based. And that kind of got me thinking about how maybe a book, I mean, I've always been interested in trying to write a book, but never quite got around to it. But that got me interested in how a book about bad Spectrum games, because there's lots of books about, you know, good Spectrum games out there, and I thought this might be a good angle. And I spoke to Chris Wilkins of Fusion Retro Books about it, who at that time had published the Ocean book and the Spectrum in Pixels books, which I'd contributed to the latter. And he liked the idea, but unfortunately life got in the way, and it wasn't until lockdown and COVID that I finally got round to actually doing something about it. Wrote about Squidge, that was game number 1 that went in there, and I decided that I couldn't write about 100 odd just terrible Spectrum games that would drive me crazy, you know, trying to get screenshots of all these. So I added different chapters, excuse me, which was the hardest games, because they're still a bit of a nightmare to play, and controversial games, which sort of like filled out the rest of the book as well. So you didn't just have 110 crap games. You had some different stuff to read about as well. Some actual good games as well. So that's how controversially Jet Set Willy got into ZX Nightmares, because it can be a bit of a nightmare to play.
Surprisingly, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. You've just burst my bottle.
Sorry about that.
I've just been distracted by that's Highlander at the top left, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Highlander. Yeah, that was my designer, Stephen Day. I need to credit him a lot with sorting all that out. So that's always been a controversial aspect of the Nightmares and Dreams books. But I wanted to do something a bit different, because we've all seen Spectrum books and they've just got like a picture of the Spectrum on the front or screenshots or whatever. And I thought, we're writing a book about nightmares. Let's have a guy on the front who's like absolutely petrified. He's having a nightmare and he's visualizing, you know, he's going to bed. He's been playing Jet Set Willy all night, or Highlander or Squidge, and he's going to bed and he's having nightmares about it. So let's visualize that. And Stephen did, I think he did a great job. So yeah, we got all these sprites up there. I guess you guys could probably name them all, couldn't you? I guess you already got Highlander, haven't you?
Most of them.
I'd have thought so. Obviously, Jet Set Willy, Super Graeme, the jetpack fella. Is that Vixen at the top right?
Yeah, it is. Well done. Yeah.
On the right.
Yeah.
I recognise the one on the left. I can't place it. Obviously,
Scooby-Doo or Yogi.
Yeah.
I don't know the bottom left. The Maria, is it from Jet Set Willy?
Yes. Yeah.
The
housekeeper. Yeah. The housekeeper who doesn't do her job. She lets Jet Willy get on with it all.
Yeah. I was going to comment on the font, because you've used the Spectrum font.
Yes, yeah, that was all Stephen. I mean, my skills are, well, a lot of people would say that they're not in writing, but they're definitely not in graphic design. And yeah, Stephen.
But it's really good, because that's one of the first things I saw was the font, and it's just like that's a Spectrum. It's really good. It's really effective.
Yeah, that's BC Bill on the left with his club in hand, which was a controversial game, because essentially Bill, it's a game where Bill goes out into the prehistoric land and clubs women over the head and drags them back to his cave for high. I'm not going to go. It's obviously a family stream, so I'm not going to go into it too much. But put it this way, kids sort of like wander out a few seconds later.
I'll let you know when it's 9 o'clock.
Watershed. Yeah, you wouldn't get that in a game nowadays, would you? Well, at least not.
No.
It's very un-PC.
Yeah. It looks a bit like Captain Caveman.
Sorry. Yeah, Captain Caveman.
Yeah, I believe they probably got influence from that, definitely, at the time.
Yeah.
Who's the guy in the bed? Who's the guy having a nightmare?
That's a couple of people have said, is it me? But I'd love to have that hair. But no, it's I assume it's a royalty-free image that, well, I hope it is anyway, that Steve acquired from the internet.
Evening.
Hello, Brian.
Okay. So we're just going to skip another page, so here's a bit more of the Nightmares book. Nightmares book I was actually going to do after Dreams, but because Nightmares was made before Dreams, which I didn't know, I'm doing Nightmares now. So here are some of the I took them all this morning. I could have taken a lot more, but I was running out of time. Yeah, there's the controversial one for me, but I can see why you put it in now, Jet Set Willy. So see now.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys know Martin Carroll. He was the original editor of Retro Gamer, and I remember when he's always been not only a good friend but a great help with my writing, especially early on in Retro Gamers when my career at Retro Gamer. And I was discussing the concept with him because he's a big Spectrum fan, and I remember telling him that I was going to put Jet Set Willy in, and I won't say his reply, but you know, it was it rhymed with clucking bell, as Blackadder would say, and yes, he wasn't very happy about that. But yeah, I mean, it's a game you couldn't complete it in its first version, and Software Projects was forced to issue a sort of like, it's not a bug, it's a feature type advert about the game, because it was bugged to hell, and yeah, a very complex and obviously brilliant game, but also very difficult, especially as it was bugged, as I say.
But it was bugged, didn't they have to release an updated version with like a patch and an early poke in it,
absolutely,
to fix it? So it was a bug, but it was insanely difficult, Jet Set Willy. If you actually sort of break it down and try and do it room by room, it could be incredibly difficult. And if you got stuck in a doom loop, that was it. It was game over, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think thanks, Mark. I think I was justified in putting it in. Sorry, Mark.
It's all right.
I mean,
I'm not
agree. I mean, apart from anything else, as you say,
I'm not a platform games.
You've got to have a bit of a. Sorry, go on, Mark.
No, I was going to say I'm not a platform games fan. The only platform game I loved was Chucky Egg, and that was it, really. I can't even stand Manic Miner, which is probably my controversial bit. Is I can't play it. But I can understand how great it was, though. I can understand how many people love it, but I'm just hopeless at playing it. I was more into the sporty games. So
yeah, fair enough. So you liked World Cup Carnival then?
Oh God! Even I know how bad that was, and the story behind it as well, which was terrible. I saw the actual real story from the was it the Rugby Key Experience DVD? Because they actually talked about it on there. John Rittman talked about it, because I think he was originally going to do the World Cup game, and then yeah, the story. We won't go into that because I think we mentioned it a lot last time doing the worst games, because it was one of my worst ones. But yeah, I can see why World Cup Carnival was definitely in there. And then I just picked some different ones in here, like Knight Rider, Super Grand, of course. One of Tez's favorite games.
Absolutely. It's a shame it's not on. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he loves it. Yeah,
okay.
When you see Tez say, "I love how much you love Supergram." I'm just going to walk away from here a sec.
Fair enough.
No, that is definitely sarcasm. Whilst we're on the World Cup Carnival page there, I see PK at the bottom right. I've got this memory of having the Mexico '86 sticker book from Panini, with all the little packs of stickers, and I remember getting the PK foil. Used to call them a foil, the ones that kind of were all shiny.
I remember that.
Yeah, when you got one per team and a few at the beginning, and PK was one at the beginning of the book. I just remember how pleased I was when I got that in my sticker book one week.
That was my first ever sticker album. I think the '86 World Cup. I might have had the '82 one, but I definitely remember the '86 one. And yeah,
I had a book about Argentina '82 and all of that. I don't know where it came from, so I would have been too young to have bought it. But yeah, the Mexico '86 is definitely the first one I remember.
So I just put the comment which we showed earlier. Apart from the bugs and Jet Set Willy, loved the game. I was always happy just wondering about the mansion. Wondering about the mansion? People, I don't play the game, so what about the mansion?
Wandering, I think he means, rather than
wandering. Wondering about the mansion.
Wandering around rather than
I got you now.
Although you could wonder with an O about the mansion as well, because it was crazy, wasn't it? It was the craziest mansion ever. I mean, didn't it have hell in it? Literally. There was
yes, it did.
Yes. Wasn't there?
Some of the room names were tremendous.
Oh wow.
Dear old Matthew.
So
he's still around these days, isn't he? So it's good to see him with the with the scene a bit more now.
Mark's got some history with him, don't you?
Who with what?
Oh no, it's Morgan. Sorry, not you.
It's
you.
Morgan.
Sorry, Morgan.
Yeah, it's Morgan, not me. So yeah, here's my copy of Nightmares.
Excellent.
I've got a certain you probably won't be able to see that now. Yeah, because my blinking green screen. You can just see it. The autograph is there.
Oh.
So you autographed it at did I buy it at Crash, the Nightmares, or no? I think it came in the post actually.
I don't remember, mate. No.
But anyway, that's the ZX Nightmares. So what I'm going to do is let's go back a few slides. So
can we talk about Knight Rider just briefly first?
I was just gonna, I was gonna ask a couple of things.
I've got fond memories of Knight Rider. I know it's been it's
don't
been
think of
slagged
the TV
off.
program, Sam. This is not the same.
I mean, obviously, I've got fond memories of the TV program as well, which may have coloured my experience with the game. But yeah, I remember getting Knight Rider on. I forget the name of the compilation. It was Screen Heroes. I think that was it, with Street Hawk and Miami Vice and whatever else.
Oh,
yeah. But yeah, I actually kind of enjoyed it. I mean, I know that that road bit when you're sort of driving along does get a bit monotonous. Something about scuds, I kind of forget the detail of it. But I enjoyed it. I don't know, it had the little kind of jingly beeper rendition of the Knight Rider theme tune.
Here, Graeme, Sam's a junior of the group, so he was a little bit younger.
Do you think that's what it was? I was young enough that I just.
I think that's what it was.
It had me at the music and the name.
Well, Knight Rider. It's actually funny how these games work, because I don't know if you guys know the story. I can't remember if I talk about it in that bit, but Gary Bracey had started work at Ocean, and at the time they had very little internal development. I think they handed it out to a lot of other companies, and that was including on Knight Rider. And he went down to the South Coast somewhere to catch up with the developers, who were, in his words, when I spoke to him a few months ago, were drinking and smoking the Advance from Ocean away. Now, obviously, that's Gary's words, not mine. But in any case, he wasn't very happy with development, and I think that was kind of the game that broke the camel's back, and they decided then that they were going to focus on getting people into Ocean, basically, so they could handle development themselves. So in a way, poor Ocean games such as that, and to a lesser extent Street Hawk, that kind of paved the way for Ocean's success in the latter part of the 80s, I think.
I told you Knight Rider was a
fashion, though, wasn't it? At the time, at that point, it was just a fashion, though, to have a tie-in for just about every TV or film, popular TV program or film that was out. You know, every kind of big studio, I think, wanted to do that, and some obviously worked better than others. And obviously, you know, with some they clearly put more effort in than others. I mean, Knight Rider there, Street Hawk, which was mentioned there. Street Hawk had two versions, I believe. One was like a free version on one of the crash tapes, I think, possibly. And the other was the official version. And actually, I think the free version was actually the better one.
They had a catalogue. They had a commitment to a catalogue, I think, Crash from Ocean, and the version wasn't up to scratch. It was by, funny enough, Mark mentioned Chucky Egg earlier. It was by the guy that wrote Chucky Egg, Nigel Alderton, and it was kind of like a Defender. Yeah, it was kind of like a Defender type game.
Yeah.
Went to the left and right, and it's very fast.
That. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was good. It was good, but the problem was, I think at that time, first of all, it didn't really look like the show very much, and second of all, you needed a bit more glitz, you needed a bit more glamour for these tie-ins, you know. And I think Ocean weren't particularly happy, so that got scrapped, and they brought in the newer version, which looked a bit better, but I don't think it, like you say, Mark, I don't think it played as well.
No.
I think it's a shame, because Street Hawk the program was actually pretty good, but it only lasted, I think, 12 episodes.
Yeah,
or something.
It was very short-lived. Yeah.
Was it just me, or did the bloke? He was the fella who was back in the office, the kind of the techie guy. Did he look like Quentin Tarantino, or is it just my memory?
Did he?
I'm sure he did. We'll have to find a picture.
We have to go.
Can I just ask at this point as well? Does anybody remember Automan?
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
Yeah.
Automan.
And Manimal as well. They were all rage, weren't they, at the time?
But Automan only lasted about 6 episodes or something.
Because it was too expensive.
It was just but the effects, it was just like, oh my god!
When you were Tron, wasn't it?
They borrowed Tron's effects. They actually watched sort of like a behind the scenes. Yeah. I saw behind the scenes of Automan, and he said each episode cost equivalent to $1 million, because they used those special effects on Tron. Yeah, and this is 1983, 84. hence why it only lasted 8 episodes. But they based the famous cars, you know, if you ever watch the Autobahn, it goes in the car and it does right angles. They did that in honor of Tron, because they saw the bikes and they thought it goes at 90 degrees when it turns a corner. You can watch most of the episodes on YouTube still. That's why I watched the first 2 episodes again. It reminded me so much of how good it was, but then I can see how expensive it was. And it was poor. I think 13 episodes. That's it. Pixel Plug has just said 13 episodes. There we go. I think Glenn Larson, was this a Glenn Larson production? Because he tried to get the success
Something
after
like
Battlestar
that,
Galactica, and he's failing with Manimal, Automan, and Buck Rogers. Well, Buck Rogers, I love Buck Rogers, but that kind of failed after season 2. But yeah,
I think Jill Gerard spiked to that a bit, didn't he? Didn't he die recently? I think he did. But I think he wasn't very happy with the direction it was going, and I think that kind of scuppered that a little bit.
Season 2 was so different to season 1 of Buck Rogers. That Wilma, I loved Wilma Deering. You know, Ern Gray. She had an amazing role in season 1. You know, a real power woman, and in the second one they just made her into a bit part, and it was him and Hawk most of the time, and it wasn't very good. But it's still
one of the best intros of the 80s.
Yeah.
Can I ask Graeme, do you find it difficult writing about negativity, you know, in games?
That's an interesting question, Mark. And yes, as I like to think of myself as quite a positive person, I did find it very tough on certain occasions. And I think at the introduction, I say, you know, there's some sort of disclaimer like I couldn't write a Spectrum game anywhere near as good as these games, which were supposedly the worst Spectrum games. So, you know, please, you know, if there's any developers out there, don't take a hit out on me or anything like that. I'm literally, you know, just highlighting these games. And I did find it very difficult. And there's certain games such as Squidge and Super Gran and thing, they're just acknowledged as terrible games, but there's others which were a little bit borderline. And I did think to myself at the time, like there's a guy called Graham Stafford who worked for a company called Crystal Computing and then latterly designed. Lovely guy, interviewed him several times, and he did a lot of good games on the Spectrum B. He did this one game, I can't remember what it was called, but it was like an isometric type wireframe type game. Not isometric, sorry, a wireframe type game. And it was absolutely terrible. And I felt so bad, but it got 16% in Crash. So obviously it wasn't the only one. And I sent Graham an apology and said to him, look, I'm really sorry, mate, but you know, I've got this game and I've said some bad things about it. And he was absolutely fine. You know, it was a rush job conversion from a Commodore 64 original, as a lot of games were back then. And he knows that it wasn't the best, but he got paid for it, and that was kind of all he worried about at the time, I guess. But yeah, it's an interesting point because it did feel a little bit at times that I was making fun of these guys' efforts, and back in the 80s, and of course they were all under different pressures. I mean, like for instance, Squidge is a classic story. Yeah. The guy was you know, studying, and he'd been given this job by CRL. He really didn't want to do it, and he didn't have the expertise. And they're all under pressure to deliver, and you know, quite often the quality was the sacrifice, unfortunately.
It's like E.T. on the Atari, which apparently the developer, I think, had 2 weeks to do, basically from scratch, which he obviously blames a lot of the success of the game on. But yeah, that's the sort of pressures they were under at the time. You know, here's an idea, get it going, you know, in a couple of weeks, and we'll put it out. They didn't have the same quality control then, did they?
Exactly, and we laugh about it, you know, about Knight Rider and Street Hawk and Super Gran and whatnot these days. But you know, you imagine you've got the Spectrum 48K, well, actually less, by the time you portion out some of the CPU functions, and you know, you're supposed to take this like show and put it onto a Spectrum game. And yeah, I can imagine for a lot of these developers it was quite often like, oh god, how am I going to do this?
But if you think about it, these are bad games or not very good playable games, but we're still chatting about them 40 years later. That must be something. Shows you in some ways how good they were, if that makes sense, because we're still chatting about them 40 years later. or bad they were in some cases, thanks to obviously these books and people playing these games.
They're memorable. Maybe it's better to.
Yeah, exactly, memorable.
Be remembered for a
strange way.
a game with 16% than have middle of the road game at 40% that doesn't get talked about much.
Yeah, well, it's exactly what I was saying earlier, Sam. The middling ones, I avoided the reviews for that, but straight to the bad ones after the good ones.
Yeah, if you're going to fail catastrophically.
Exactly.
So so Graeme, if you had to pick one, which would it be?
In terms of the worst?
What's your ultimate?
Well, I think Squidge has to be the worst, purely because, and it's quite interesting. When I wrote the article for Eurogamer, Aliens Colonial Marines had just been released. I don't know if you guys remember that game on the Xbox 360 PS3.
Yeah, I was so disappointed with it.
It got absolutely slated because technically it was awful, and people were highlighting this on YouTube and streaming and whatnot. And the sort of framing that I used for my article on Squidge was, yes, obviously Aliens Colonial Marines is not a great game. But we had this game on the Spectrum back in the 80s, which you literally could not play. You couldn't play it. You bought a game for £1.99, £2, and you could not play it. It was so bugged that you couldn't move, you couldn't start, and it was a complete and utter waste. And I made this point at the start of the article, saying, we don't realise how good we have it these days. And then literally in the comments, someone said it can't be as bad as Mass Effect 3 or something like that, which is obviously a completely ridiculous thing to say. Would you rather spend an evening playing Squidge or Mass Effect 3? And I think I know what I'd rather play. But yeah, Squidge is my ultimate bad game because it was such a disaster from start to finish. And the guy behind it was a teenager, like a lot of them were, I suppose, but he was doing his exams and he just didn't really know what he was doing at the time. And yeah, he produced something, and incredibly, even though it was so bugged, CRL still put it out, or the Powerhouse still put it out, and it got released not once but twice on a compilation as well. And I think that's got to be the ultimate bad game for the Spectrum, certainly, and I think the most famous as well, or infamous.
I wonder what was going on with there must have just been very little quality assurance, I suppose, with some of the budget games there. Of course, nowadays it's a different, the industry is a completely different scale, and there'll be old teams, and software companies will have QA teams. But you'd think back then they still would have had a process in place, and that process might have been that the developer develops it, and then it goes on to someone who just at least has a 5-minute game on it. But you think
that's all it would have taken to produce this. I think maybe a lot of it at the time, Sam, was that there wasn't, obviously if you put a bad game out today in 2026, you will find out very quickly if there's any bugs. If you put something on Steam and it's bugged, you'll get a lot of these very quickly. And I think back then, maybe if you didn't send your game off to the magazines, they rarely reviewed it. So you could kind of release something a bit rubbish like that and get away with it because people would just see the cover and buy it in the stores, and that would be it. That would be the only sort of like feedback you get on it. So yeah, I think maybe they could get away with it a little bit more back then.
Plus, I'm just having slight problems here, so carry on talking.
I was just going to say, remember as well that a lot of the operations at that time were literally, bedroom outfits. Companies just printing cassettes and punting them out. Games made in a few weeks and out you go. Yeah. There wasn't, there were so many different distributors and things then. Not your Ultimates and Oceans and Imagines and everything else. All the little independent ones. Sometimes they'd put out absolute gems, and other times it was. A lot of the time it was very sort of run-of-the-mill stuff. But if you put a game out cheap enough, even if it was fairly basic and maybe a little bit buggy, folk would still buy it if it was playable. Kids would still buy it. They'd go in with pocket money, and that's $1.99. I'll have that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yeah.
Even some games are crap. Even if some games are crap, people would still play them. they might like them.
Yeah.
Like I like, as people know in the chat in the group, I love How's That, and How's That is in ZX Nightmares, and it got the famous 12%. I love How's That.
Yeah, you could redefine the whole teams. So I basically had my school cricket team playing against the might of the West Indies in 1985, and they were pretty good in 1985. And obviously, I would be a magnificent all-rounder with batting 10 and bowling 10 and scoring hundreds and God knows what else. And I spent hours in front of that game, just like you, presumably, Mark.
Yeah, I did. I loved it. It's one of my all-time favorite games. So we're going to go back a couple of screens. So just pardon me for a second. My PowerPoint did go wrong a bit slightly, so I was fixing it. Let's head back to ZX Dreams. These are the books I first heard about from Graeme. Now, as I said there, who is this guy?
He's just another, I don't know, guy from a royalty-free. Yeah, so what Stephen would have done is just gone on presumably one of these websites that he is, as a graphic designer, is a member of, or has joined, and he would type in "sleeping guy royalty-free graphic," and he would get that, and then we just use it. And obviously, he's the same guy, but he's like flipped for the sequel, which I'm not sure. I think it's a good conceit, but obviously it does mean the books look quite similar, so I'm not sure whether that was a good idea or not, but yeah, that's what we went for.
Who knows, in the future, because this stream of course stays on my YouTube channel for many years, this guy who's sleeping on in your book might watch this and thinking, that's me some 20 years ago. So have you got a message for the future him if he ever watches this?
I wasn't expecting that question. Well, dude, you're famous now. I assume as he's on a royalty-free image, I assume he's been used in lots of other things as well. So to be honest, he's probably used to seeing himself on books and in magazines and stuff. So yeah, that's just another one for him.
Reminds you of the protagonist of the series Bad Men.
Not heard of that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it is.
So
but I am very honoured that people think it's me. Very flattered.
I mean, you know, with the right light, bit of makeup.
Yeah, right light, as in no light, you mean? Yes.
Bit of stubble.
I mean, he's in bed. It's night time.
But I recognise quite a few of the icons around this one, though.
Oh yes, you should get these ones, guys. Yeah, these are a bit easier, I think.
These are quite nice.
See,
what's the story behind ZX Dreams then?
It was back in 2023, Mark. Sorry, Mark, but I thought about, obviously I'd played all these bad games and not quite enjoyed getting some of the screenshots, because obviously, you know, each entry has 4 screenshots, so it usually involves a loading screen if they've got them. Obviously a lot of the poorer games don't have loading screens, and then I had to get 3 screens from the game itself, and that's not always easy, especially for a game like Squidge, where you can't actually get off the first screen. So yeah, I decided that I kind of punished myself enough in that respect, and I wanted to write about some good games instead. And that was basically how ZX Dreams came about. That obviously seems a logical follow-up from Nightmares to have Dreams. So there we were, and it took a little bit of tweaking of the categories, but it was relatively simple, and we had a kind of process in place, myself and Steve and Fusion Retro Books. So I think it worked pretty well in the end.
They're very popular books. And then of course, was Volume 2 quite recent, isn't it?
Yeah, Volume 2 came out last year, so I managed to get that one out pretty quickly, and that's basically because I obviously have a big spreadsheet full of Spectrum games, and after completing ZX Dreams Volume 1, there was still honestly a ridiculously amount of good games left on it. So I thought to myself, why not do a Volume 2? And Madman, yeah, I've heard of that one. Yeah. So I pitched that to Chris Wilkins at Fusion Retro Books, and he was up for that. So yeah, Volume 2, and because everything was kind of in place, it was very easy just sort of slotting the new games in and writing about them. I must say, it is trickier trying to be jovial about good games, obviously bad games lend themselves quite well to that. You know, you can write about how bad Squidge is and all this sort of thing and make jokes about it. But for good games, that's a bit trickier. But I've tried obviously to keep the same kind of ethos and keep it readable and upbeat rather than sort of a serious analysis of each game. So ZX Dreams Volume 2, and actually there's probably enough games for a ZX Dreams Volume 3. But instead, no, there's not. But there is going to be a Nightmares Volume 2. So there's going to be another Nightmares. So you got more Nightmares, Doughnut, but no more Dreams.
I do enjoy. I don't know why, because I'm an Empire supporter in Star Wars. I do like the worst ones more than the better ones.
The underdogs. Yeah.
A question to you, Graeme. Are you going to maybe feature some of the homebrew games in the last 10 years?
Well, I don't know if you guys know, but if you backed ZX Dreams Volume 2 on Kickstarter, you got a Next Dreams magazine with it instead, which was this square-bound magazine. And this was, that's it. This was my publisher's idea, and
I think I've got it on screen actually.
Yeah, I think it was a great idea, and I love the Next, and it was obviously.
No, I haven't. I haven't. Sorry.
Relatively simple. It was relatively simple to put together that, and it's just like basically 22 of my favourite ZX Spectrum Next games. So I think if I don't necessarily know as if there's enough for a whole book, possibly. But that's certainly an idea that is sort of boiling away in the background, to do something.
It's definitely
on homebrew games.
One thing we've noticed in the Speccy Experience group is that the homebrew market, especially games from overseas, there are so many good new games and games that have been around like 10, 15 years have come out. Hence why we're featuring Load ZX Awards in a minute to feature what won the awards last week. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see some of them featured in maybe some of the books, because they hopefully will go down as great games in the, as we do looking back 40 years of these ones as well. So there's some
and I mean it's absolutely amazing, I think, that guys are still producing these games today. I mean, if you sort of thought back to the 80s when we were all on our Spectrums playing Chucky Egg, and then moving on to Amigas and Mega Drives, and you said at that point, oh, in like 40 years' time, 35 people will still be making Spectrum games, I think you would have got some odd looks. So I think it's absolutely incredible that it's still going on, and definitely a book or a smaller magazine around that would be interesting to write, I think, certainly as well.
It is quite amazing what they're doing with the Spectrum, not even just the Spectrum, even like the C64 and stuff, and the homebrew stuff. They've got so many new techniques and tricks and stuff that they didn't know about 40 years ago that they're doing now in the games. It's like, what the hell? You look at some of them.
The Nirvana engine thing is kind of mind blowing, isn't it?
It is. It's like whoa. But I mean, it's really clever. It's really interesting. But I'll always, have an affection for these, because these sort of things are this is my childhood.
It's the nostalgia, isn't it?
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of Star Wars. You've got the classic 3, and then you've got the future 3. 7, 8, 9. This is kind of like we're talking about the classic Spectrum games, the 80s and the early 90s, and now we're talking about the homebrew Spectrum games, which are amazing. It's kind of feels like talking about the classic Star Wars films and then talk about the ones that have been made 30, 40 years later.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah,
not as good as the classic films, though, of course. But yeah, we'll show you some of the homebrew winners in a minute. Tez is around, Mr. Super Grand Fan. He's popping in saying hello. So here's a selection of some of the pictures I took earlier today of what was in the ZX Dreams book, I think it is. We've got some of the well-known classics there, Chucky Egg, Daley Thompson's, of course. All these are amazing games. Credit to the people who create these games that we're still talking about them 40, 45 years later. They'd be, if you talk, as you rightly said, if you talk to someone back in 1983, look, we're going to talk about Chucky Egg in 2026. They'll look at you thinking you've had too much drink or something.
You have to remember as well, Mark, two of these games on here are 16K games, so 9K essentially. At the end of the day.
That's Death Chase and
Forest Go Skiing.
Yeah.
I was just reading about
just
Chucky Egan.
Trying to write a game in that.
It's mad, isn't it? Yeah. And Attic, just to be clear, is it Attic Attack? The pronunciation. I know there've been.
Or what?
Or is it? I've heard it said as a tick attack. Which didn't make much sense, but
I'm pretty sure it's Attic. I'm pretty sure it's Attic Attack.
Attic Attack, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I pronounce it. Definitely, yeah.
Good.
So these are just
although now you've mentioned it, Sam, thanks for that, because that's all I'll think about now.
It's going to be drilled in Martin's mind now for the rest of the stream.
I think the most amazing game there is Death Chase. I just love Death Chase. I think it's such an incredible game. Like Martin, I think mentioned in 9K or 10K or whatever they had to work on. And I know there's not a lot to it. You basically just go through increasingly dense forests and shoot the enemy bikers. But back in the day, that was just incredible Twitch gaming back then to be able to play a game like that in just on a 16K Spectrum. It was
and it came out when
really.
Return of the Jedi came out as well.
Yeah,
so
that was good timing.
That helped.
It's the speeder bikes on Endor, isn't it?
Exactly.
But it's one of these games. It's one of these games. You put it on, put some good music on in the background, like some good rock or something, and just fly through these trees, and it's just so good. It's so basic, but it's mesmeric. So good.
Yeah. And the guy that wrote it, Mervyn J. Escort, he kind of disappeared. He wrote this game. He wrote Lunar Crabs and Full Throttle, another biking game.
Full Throttle.
He did those three, and he kind of disappeared. And I got quite close to.
He might be behind a tree.
Yeah, he's hiding behind a tree. Yeah, he's like the Lord Lucan of Spectrum developers, and I got quite close to locating him a few years ago. I was in touch with his cousin of all people, but it turns out that he kind of moved on back then and just didn't want to be involved or know anything about the Spectrum these days. So that was it. Really.
Is it right? I don't know if it's in the review here that you have, but is it right that Death Chase had like the first digitized loading screen?
I can't remember if I mentioned it, Mark, but that's certainly a good point. It's a very good loading screen, yeah.
Yeah, you can see it barely just there, actually, on the Death Chase on the left-hand side there.
That might be Mervyn on his own bike, because as I say, he was a big biker, so that might be a photo someone took of him. So who knows?
We have to mention Trapdoor, because Tez's favourite game of all time is Trapdoor, and Tez likes mentioning Trapdoor every stream. Yeah,
Trapdoor is excellent.
It is a great game.
Get the can of worms.
It's a technically stunning game. Just floors me what they did with that.
And that's true, Martin. Also, Don Priestley, who's the author of it, sadly passed away. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. It passes so quickly for me these days. But yeah, he passed away, and I think that's also, we're remembering these guys, and I'm trying to talk to them about the games that they made. And, like most things, it's finite, isn't it? And I think it's important to try and get as many of these stories as possible in these games as remembered, because these guys aren't going to be around forever. I was speaking to John Rittman about Matchday 2 the other day, and poor John's not been very well either. He had a heart attack last year, so but he's okay, fortunately. But it kind of brings back to home that a lot of these guys, we're old, but they were older than us.
I know. I think we've got to remember. We've got to remember we're talking 40+ years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of these games, and time doesn't stop for everybody. Sometimes I think that people are still the same age, but they're not.
Martin, that's someone else I need to add to the list. Rittman.
John,
all the guys who do football games.
Well,
you notice the theme here.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy.
You remember John for the football. I remember for Head Over Heels.
Head Over Heels.
Yeah. Right.
He was. I
don't know if you remember. Is that in your book, Graeme?
Yeah, Head Over Heels is in. I think all his games are in there basically. But yeah, he avoided a crash smash for match day. Only got 86%. And he even wrote a letter into. He wrote a letter into Crash saying, "Why didn't you smash my game? It's been in your chart for like 10 months or something like that. But he got a smash match day 2, fortunately.
Yeah, a bit of pressure there when they review match day 2 because I think it was going to be a smash no matter what.
Scoreboard pressure.
Luckily it was a great game, match day 2.
Absolutely.
So we're going to, I'm just going to see what screens I've got left because I'm doing this. Right, we're going to go, this was featured in the last stream. This is the only time we're going to mention a worst game because we're going to go back and talk about the best games because Graeme's here. I sent Graeme a message quite a few weeks ago about this and said, look, we're doing worst games. All of us are listing one worst game, 2 in some cases. Which one would you like to feature? And you said to me, pick one in the book of ZX Nightmares. So I picked Kung Fu Knights because, come on, it's Knights and it's Kung Fu. Yeah.
What do they call it in Hollywood movies where someone gives a pitch and it's like you combine one thing with another? There's a term for it in movies.
This meets that or something.
The high concept pitch. That's it. The high concept pitch. So you had the game earlier on the screen, which was amongst all the other games, which was BMX Ninja, and you can literally see what's going through their minds. It's like, well, BMXs are popular, aren't they? And ninjas are popular, so let's make a game about BMXs and ninjas. So they did that, and it was crap. And then they obviously had the same sort of thought. It was another budget game, wasn't it? Well, Kung Fu's popular, and Knights, they're always kind of popular, aren't they? So let's make a game called Kung Fu Knights, and there it was. It was terrible as well.
I actually got 30%. That was actually quite high in your Nightmares book.
You could never trust Sinclair user, though, could you?
No, I noticed that when they're reviewing football games. Actually, so
although your Sinclair gave it more there, didn't they? They gave it 4 out of 10, so it's 10% more, isn't it? So
we're talking about the worst games. So obviously, what would be your ultimate, maybe top 3 best games?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you 2 straight away. Match Day 2, which we've already been talking about, and Chaos by Julian Gollop. And in the interest of trying to pick something different, I would probably pick a different game by Julian Gollop. But if you wanted my true feelings, I would say Rebel Star as well, also by Julian Gollop, because I just love those games, and I just thought they were. I was never a big strategy gamer. I never played like Vulcan and all those CCS strategy games. They were always too obtuse for me. But Julian had a special ability, which he's obviously demonstrated since the days of the Spectrum as well, with his PC games and Amiga and so forth. He had a special ability to put a kind of arcade sheen to his strategy games, which kind of made them fast paced. And me and a pal of mine from my school days, Dave, we would spend hours, like whole afternoons, playing Chaos and Rebel Star, and Rebel Star 2 as well. And it would just be an incredible experience playing these games, and the sort of strategic elements that Julian managed to put into 48K. So yeah, they'd probably be my top 3. But if you wanted me to diversify a little bit, Mark, I would, in terms of my other games that I really liked, I would probably slip Bomb Jack in there instead, which I think we might be talking about a bit later as well. But yeah, Bomb Jack, and I think that's one of those special types of games, because we've all got a lot of nostalgia, but a lot of time you go back and play the games that you played back then, and they're not great. They haven't aged well. But I think Bomb Jack is the sort of game, a bit like Chucky Egg, where you can just pick it up and play it, and it's just as good as it was 40 years ago.
Yeah, it's still very playable.
Go on, Sam.
No, I was just saying it's still very playable. I mean, it's one for me. Maybe we were going to talk about it later anyway. But I loved it in the arcade at the time, and then the Speccy version was excellent. It didn't have the Beatles tune in it, but I think that's the more recent 128K version. Lady Madonna. That was in there.
All right, we won't get copyrighted, so.
not with my singing. No, won't be enough of a resemblance. But yeah, great game. Still really playable. I still pick up Bomb Jack from time to time on the Speccy.
It is great.
It was a near perfect conversion.
Absolutely,
from the arcade to the Speccy. But just going back to what you said, Graeme, about Julian Gollop's games, I think he made them they were strategic, but he made them fun as well.
Absolutely,
and that was the difference. Chaos and everything was, it was strategic, but it was fun as well. You could
instantly accessible.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you guys know the Bomb Jack 2 story? Because I interviewed Paul Holmes for Crash magazine, the new Crash, a few months ago. It's quite funny, really. He was making a Thundercats game for Elite. He was told to do a Thundercats game, and then I can't remember who it was. It might have been Steve Wilcox or someone else wandered in and watched him developing this game one day and said, "Hang on a sec, that looks a bit like Bomb Jack." And they realised he was using like a very similar engine to Bomb Jack, and then sort of a light bulb went up in someone's head, and they thought, hang on a sec, why don't we turn this into a Bomb Jack 2, and then we'll make a separate Thundercats game, which is obviously what happened.
Am I right in saying they made a real good marketing deal when they did Bomber Jack 2 by actually on the other side of the tape having Bomber Jack?
Yes.
Bomber Jack 2?
Yeah. It came with both games. Which is really
that's
good.
A very good move, I think.
Although it did show up the fact that the original was a lot better than the sequel.
Well, yes. if you have to put your more successful original on the backside of the tape, it's not saying much for the actual game, I don't think.
No, not at all. No, but it did start out as a Thundercats game.
We've got a question for Graeme.
All right. Sorry.
So, from a Mr. Tez, we don't know who this Tez guy is. He keeps appearing. Has Graeme played the new version of Rex yet?
Hi, Tez. No, I haven't yet. I haven't got round to that one. I've been a bit busy with a couple of other things, but it's definitely on my radar because Rex is bloody brilliant, to be honest. It was a late era Speccy game coded by Creative Reality, my mate Jazz Austin and his two colleagues, and it's a fantastic game. And yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that.
Hi, Win. Win's joined us. Evening, Doney, and everyone else. An amazing. Sorry, I'm late. Hope you're well. Don't worry. You come when you come, and it's great to see you again, Win. Hope you're well. Right. So I'm just going to. Oh, there we go. Bloody top game, Tez says. So he totally agrees with you there.
Right.
Now, if a alien, here's a good out of the blue question for you, Graeme. If an alien came down and knocked on your door saying, "Are you the famous guy who made ZX Dreams books?" Which Spectrum game would you ask him to play if you can only play one game?
Well, this is going to be a bit in sort of like contradicting my earlier statement, but I would recommend they play Chucky Egg, which I know is a favourite. You've mentioned is a favourite of yours because, first of all, it's accessible. So unlike Chaos and Rebel Star, which you might need a bit of time to work out, I think Chucky Egg you could kind of understand straight away. And second of all, because it's so smoothly programmed that you can kind of grab the ladders. There's no finicky ladder grabbing or anything like that you got in a lot of games. It just works so well. And I don't know how much of that was planned by Nigel Alderton, but it just works so well. And it's just still fun, like 40 years later. So I would recommend that any newbie plays Chucky Egg as an early game. And I mean, the BBC version was very good as well.
Yeah, and I have to confess here. Have we got a vicar nearby? I have to make confession that I played Chucky Egg first on my very first computer, which it wasn't a Spectrum, it was an Acorn Electron. I still prefer the Acorn Electron version of Chucky Egg.
Apparently it was programmed by the guy that ran ANF. I can't remember his name. It might have been Doug Anderson, but he introduced some slightly different physics, which kind of gives it a bit more of a natural feel. I've never really noticed the difference, but apparently a lot of people say that the Electron and BBC Micro versions are the best. But obviously the original was the Speccy version by Nigel.
Yeah, it's something to do with when you jump or something like that. It does something slightly different on the BBC versions.
I don't have this game, so I've never played it. Which game? The one on the screen or the one we're talking about? Let us know. Right, so we're going to talk about the next one. Graeme doesn't just do books. He's now wondering what he does. This is his newsletter on email. Let's talk about this for a little while, shall we?
Okay. Well, many years ago, I wasn't a writer. I was just working my day job, which was a shipbroker, and I was getting involved online with the retro community, which I never knew existed until like the mid-noughties, I guess. Retro Gamer magazine came out, which I loved, and I was thinking about doing some writing. I was always good at English at school, and someone suggested to me, I can't remember who it was, that I write a blog. And this was the idea of writing a blog was twofold. First of all, it was to sort of like hone your own writing skills, and second of all, if you ever did try and get something commercially published, you had kind of, you know, you weren't starting from a standing start. You had something to show people that you weren't a complete muppet. And so I started a blog, JD and Diet's blog, which was my kind of online name, and I really enjoyed doing that. And then as I started writing for Retro Gamer, Kung Fu Master. That's a good name. I wish I'd thought of that now, actually. And as I started writing for Retro Gamer, I kind of lost a little bit of that. And whilst writing for Retro Gamer is brilliant, they do have to you do have to obviously conform to the magazine. So the magazine has templates and so forth. And to lead back to this on the ZX Spectrum, what I decided a few years ago, back in 2022, was that it would be nice to get back to that like blogging style. And instead of doing a blog, an online blog, the fashionable thing these days is to do newsletters. So I decided to basically do the same as I used to do, except focus on the Spectrum and do a newsletter instead. And it's gone really well. It's expanded to on the ZX Spectrum Nextra, which is what you've got on the screen there, which is obviously all about the Spectrum Next. And yeah, it's good fun because I can basically just write about whatever I want each month or every other month. And yeah, it's good to sort of like be able to write about Spectrum games and just whatever particularly takes my fancy at that particular time. And yeah, people seem to like it, and it's free as well, which is everyone's favorite price, of course. So yeah, I really enjoy putting it together every month. And yeah, and it's also great to spread the news about new Next games. You've got my reviews chart there, so it's all the games I've reviewed on the Next and their scores. And yeah, it's always fun to interview people as well. There's interviews with lots of different people, and again, I have the freedom to sort of like interview whoever I want. So we've had a guy who, I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the 80s, the game dealers were like controlled a lot of the software we saw on the shelves. And there was one dealer called Micro Dealer who had adverts quite often as well, and I was fascinated by how that worked. So I interviewed the guy behind Micro Dealer and a few other people, and it's just a fun thing to do that I like to do, and I hope that people are still enjoying it. Put it that way.
That's
yeah,
good.
I'm a keen reader and have
Yeah,
been for a
same
while.
here.
And
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sam.
I enjoy your style of writing. I think it reminds me a lot of the style of writing in the Speccy magazines back in the day, which I guess I know I was just thinking about it the other day as I was writing an email to someone. I still put some of these sort of Speccy idiosyncrasies in my writing. I've noticed it in yours as well. I've been reading the ZX Dreams and Nightmares books at bedtime, and yeah, and enjoying them. But do you think that you were heavily influenced by the magazines in your style of writing?
Definitely, Sam. Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there, mate. That was a huge influence. I mean, like you guys, I had a subscription and reading Crash every month. It was a highlight of my month, basically, when that magazine turned up. And Roger Keane, who's obviously a founder of Newsfield, along with Ollie and Franco Frey, they were all absolute geniuses as far as I'm concerned. And of course, Roger was Lloyd Mangram. I hope I'm not spoiling that for anybody, but yeah, he wrote Lloyd Mangram as well. So he basically dictated a lot of the tone of the magazine, and it was like that. And your Sinclair, my Sinclair user to a lesser extent, it was like a family, and it was written in that sort of tone. It didn't talk down to the audience or anything like that, and it was very friendly writing. And yeah, definitely both. I would say certainly your Sinclair and Crash were huge influences on my style of writing growing up, because basically that was all I read for a long time, those magazines.
Definitely teenage boy aimed. I think it's safe to say about that. If I could ask you, Graeme, you've already said about your favorite game. If I said to you what game impressed you the most from a technical perspective, on the old school Spectrum, what would it be?
Well, I can say that very confidently because back in the day, I was very much into shoot 'em ups. That was kind of the thing back in the day, and the one that impressed me the most, or I got most excited about, was a game called Light Force, which is kind of nowadays people look at it and they can see the limitations of it, and yeah, maybe it was a touch overrated, but at the time, having those colours on a Spectrum game, it was absolutely incredible. And obviously it's got the way it moves, it's in blocks, isn't it? Hence why it avoids the color clash. But yeah, that and another game, Houston Synapse, which I also absolutely loved in Exelon. So all those games that did something clever and avoided the color clash, they were the games I admired most, I think, on the Spectrum.
Synapse, which you mentioned there, was Dominic Robinson. Did the programming behind that, and I remember him doing a type in Crash. I'm sure it was in Crash. Is Rainbow Loader or Rainbow Looper, and it was basically a bit of almost machine code that you typed in, and it let you do this rainbow loop, basically rainbow bars on the screen, which was enormously impressive, for the Spectrum. And it was like, actually rotating colors. And when you look at Synapse, it uses the same techniques.
He's an incredible developer.
Oh, he was. They were doing some incredible stuff. Those guys then, that sort of stuff really impressed me. What they were doing. What you could do with the hardware was just amazing for a machine that was it wasn't even meant to be really games orientated in the first place. The Spectrum, it was really just meant to be a home, literally a home computer. Yeah, your Commodore 64 was also billed as a sort of business machine, but it was clearly built for gaming with the technology that it had. But the Spectrum was much more. Yeah, this is sort of for your home education. But what you could do with it was just phenomenal when you actually got into it. If you knew what to do with it, like Ultimate and the guys later on were doing, just incredible.
What about you guys? What impressed you guys?
For me, Elite. That was the first sort of like, oh my God, what the hell is this? That was after seeing that on the BBC first, which was technically amazing on that, but on the Spectrum it was even more so. What else?
I mean, shoot 'em up wise, I know. I thought you were going to say R-Type, Graeme, when you were.
That's another one. Yeah,
that was mine. That was mine.
R-Type, incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I just heard. I saw Tez put a link into an interview that he did a while back with someone the other day, and I don't think I've ever heard Bob Pape speak before. And I understand his English, but he sounded Welsh. I read somewhere that he'd worked in Wales for quite a while. But yeah, it's funny, isn't it? You never. I don't know. I always just pictured him differently, I suppose. You have a certain image of someone in your head as a programmer from a game you played on for years.
It's a bit godlike, actually, Sam. It's amazing, actually, the way that you're standing just now with the light behind you.
Yes.
Kind of godlike effect. But what Bob Pape did with that was just.
It's incredible, incredible game, and also a game. There's a game of his as well, which is quite underrated or not talked about because everyone goes on about R-Type, but I can't remember the name of it now. But what's the game where you play like a monster and you have to destroy buildings? It's an arcade game which he did the Rampage. Yeah, he did the conversion of the home conversion for the Spectrum on Rampage as well. And if you see that, go and play that as well. Yeah, it's very good as well. And I think actually that came first. So a lot of the techniques he used in R-Type, he sort of like honed his skills with Rampage. I can't remember if he got a Crash Smash, but I know it was on the cover of
Rampage was earlier. Yeah, than R-Type. But Rampage was about 87, I think.
Electric Dreams again. But very good programmer.
Check, actually. The scene you can see at the moment is at Crash Live. back in
my
November.
my very shy girlfriend hiding behind the Zen Extreme sign. Bless her. Yeah, she's attended 3 events now, so yeah, she's a keeper.
Oh wow! Crash gave it 69% in February 1988. By the way, Rampage.
Oh, okay, I'm surprised.
It only got 6 out of 10 Sinclair user, 54% your Sinclair. So it's a shame.
I guess it got a bit samey after a while. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I had it on We're the Champions, I think. Was when I first got it, but yeah, it was just, I enjoyed the tongue-in-cheekness, and it was just good fun, smashing up the buildings and eating people.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's better than the film anyway. I think there was a film version of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Dwayne Johnson.
Is The Rock?
Yeah,
yes.
that's the one. Yeah. A question. It reminds me when I came to see you, because that was the first time I actually met you in person. The little competition you had. Remember the competition you had when people had to find what the games were from screenshots or something?
It was the sort of board challenge, yeah. So you see those boards in the picture. There's one of Star Strike and one of Mooncrester. I had one, and it had screenshots of Spectrum games on it, and I kind of put it together. And basically, it was the challenge. You had to name all the games, and there was a couple really tricky ones in there as well. Yeah, a couple of people won it actually. Yeah, a couple of people won it, and they got a board each. Yeah, so they did. Well, I think in the end, I had to help a little bit. I gave a few clues out, as I did to everyone. But yeah, someone did get it in the end. Yeah.
Now there's a game, 3D Star Strike.
Yeah, another great game.
What can we say about that?
Amazing game. I mean, it's funny enough. Wynn's just mentioned that 3D Star Strike's a really good game, though. Kevin, hi Kevin. Hope you're doing well. Love 3D Star Strike. Never played the sequel.
Sequel was great. Very different game.
Brilliant.
But
very good.
From a technical perspective, it was excellent.
Wynn liked Mooncrester.
Yeah, well, that was an early arcade conversion, wasn't it? And yeah, I think it was obviously quite a simple game, even for the Spectrum. And yeah, I think they did a really good job of that as well.
And the dreaded tape loader era.
So you have to remember, with a lot of the early arcade games, they were basically 16K ROM boards. It's just they had the benefit of like a sound chip and an additional CPU at times. So it wasn't so much the memory; it was just fitting it into whether the computer was capable of it. But a lot of them were dead simple. Like Mooncrest, it was it's a very simple concept.
I remember getting it on a Crash cover tape.
Yeah. It was the first Crash cover tape, which was like on the front cover, it had 4 games on it. When they started doing compilation cover tapes, it was the first one, along with Micronaut 1, I think it was, Pete Cook's Micronaut 1. So yeah, great lot of gaming there for £1.50.
Yeah.
What year was
it, Mark? As well?
What year was Mooncrester?
About 83.
85 okay. On the Spectrum. Yeah, it was quite late.
A bit later, I thought. But I was also just going to say there, as a comparison with like Space Harrier, which was like a 1 meg game in the arcades, and yet Keith Burkell managed to get that into 48K.
Yeah, quite incredible. Well, how he approached that. I mean, he must have looked at the arcade game, looked at that, and thought, "Wow, okay." But yeah, kudos to him for putting a playable game out. I mean, obviously, it was nothing like the arcade game, but it was still good. Better than the Commodore 64 game, anyway, which was terrible, if I seem to recall correctly.
That reminds me, this was Crash last year, which was in Kenilworth. I remember Crash because this is the instance where I lost one of my shoes. Literally, I had to get some new shoes. I was walking with new shoes on the Sunday because I think I was going to get any. Crash, since I think our last stream, Crash 26 has been announced. And it's now going to be held in a bigger hotel in Coventry. The only difference is it's not a weekender. It's going to be a Friday night and an all Saturday event. So it's a 1 and a bit day event. So I can see why they did that. It means it's going to be quite compact, especially for me on that Saturday, go and see everything and meeting everyone again. I'm really looking forward to it. And obviously, hopefully Graham's going to be there. Mr. Interviewee as well, because Graham does interviews. He interviews a lot of guests. I'm very jealous that he talked to Kevin Toms. but I managed to meet Ken Toms in the end. So let's briefly talk about Crash Live and your experiences there. So can you think of probably who's your most memorable guest you've chatted to as an interview?
I'd love to say it's Kevin Toms, Mark, just to keep you happy, who I've actually interviewed twice now for Crash Live. Once was in the last one at Walsall, which I think was in 2022. And I also spoke to him again last year, as you mentioned. But I think probably the most interesting and fun for me was last year when I interviewed the two magazine writers. So it was Phil South of Your Sinclair, Phil Snouty South, and a guy from Crash, Nick Roberts. And I interviewed them both, and I absolutely loved doing this because it was so different just talking to guys who, like me, just write about games rather than actually make them. And I just found that fascinating talk, because as we've already discussed, I absolutely inhaled these magazines back in the day, and to talk to two of the guys behind them was just a real honour. So I think that was probably the most fun of all
the 25 talk,
I've done at
wasn't
Crash.
it?
Yeah, that was last year. Yeah, on the Sunday.
Yeah, I attended that one. Yeah, that was a great talk.
Yeah, I had a bit of fun at the end.
Was it a bit surreal at all, Graeme?
It was, because I know Nick quite well. I've spoken to Nick a few times, but Phil, I hadn't really talked to him much. Although actually, I did actually end up talking to him a lot beforehand, because we did a feature for Retro Gamer called Magazine Craft with Phil, which was huge fun. But yeah, I remember seeing his face, in the magazine with the joystick for the when he was playing, when he was doing the tips and everything. And yeah, just these guys, they were like the programmers, weren't they? We knew them, by name back in the day, and their faces were in the magazine. And because it was interactive, the magazines back then, we wrote letters in and, sent tips in.
Yeah, you felt like you knew them and everything.
Exactly.
It was written in a very personal kind of style, wasn't it?
Yeah. Especially those two guys. They both knew, Nick's tips column, he used to write about his God knows what his parents thought, but he would used to write about his love adventures, wouldn't he, and all this sort of thing, his girlfriend and his DJing and that. And Phil would just, I remember him telling me, when we came to writing reviews, we used to just like write a load of jokes, and then right at the end we'd write about the game a little bit. So it was like, that's the way they wrote the reviews. But that's what kind of sticks with you, isn't it? Because they did things in a much more entertaining way. And you had those guys, and if you wanted it a bit more serious, then you could always read Sinclair User, couldn't you?
And Nick's Nick's come back to do the Crash magazine again, doing the
tips
and everything.
He's one of fellow writers on Crash, so yeah. And he wrote the foreword for ZX Nightmares as well, so yeah, he's a good guy, Nick.
Just gonna flick back a couple of. Carry on, Sam. I'm just flicking back a couple of things.
Yeah, I was just going to say I've got a memory that sticks with me from a Your Sinclair cover tape where they put a song on called "Hold My Hand Very Tightly" by Whistling Rick, someone or other. Anyone remember
that? Yeah. Oh yes, that rings a bell. Whistling Rick. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Hold my hand very tightly, very tightly. But it still goes around.
Wow.
I mean, Your Sinclair was brilliant. Would you remember, Sam? Do you remember like the Crack Games Corner?
Yeah.
With lawnmower simulator, but you just press
advanced lawnmower simulator. Yeah.
Amazing game.
Incredible that was.
Amazing game.
Just kind of went backwards and forwards and back. And the sun was there. And
it was an April Fool wind up, wasn't it? So they gave it like top marks and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It was brilliant stuff. Yeah.
They put it on a cover tape at some point, didn't they?
They did, yeah. And then everyone started sending in Crack Games, so they kind of made a corner for it, which I think Rich Kelly ended up editing. That was his kind of call to fame on Your Sinclair.
Yes, yeah.
So I'm going to plug the books, of course. We're near the end of this segment, so if you want to get the Nightmare books are out of stock at the moment. I checked late this morning. But these ones are still around.
What a nightmare! What a nightmare!
ZX Nightmare.
What a nightmare! Yes, yeah.
Yeah, these ones you can still get. It's worth getting if you're a massive Spectrum fan. If you haven't got these books, please get them. They are amazing books. Brings back a lot of memories and maybe games that you've never heard of that you want to go and try again, or start again, or try again after 40 years, like in my case, and knowing how crap you are playing them, as in my case. So a couple of more comments coming up. Do you know there was a Mooncrester competition by Incentive?
Yes, Incentive like to. My first article for Retro Gamer was on Incentive, and I interviewed Ian Andrew, who was incidentally at the last Crash as well, presenting a talk about his company Incentive. And yeah, he liked to do different stuff and had all these competitions. And there was a competition to win a Mooncrester. I'm going to get into that. It was a Mooncrester cocktail cabinet. So cocktail cabinets were the ones where it was like a table, wasn't it? Yeah. And they gave away a Mooncrester cocktail cabinet to the lucky winner. So yeah, they like to do that sort of thing.
There you go.
I mean, that would be a cool thing to have, actually.
It would.
Retro furniture hardware.
Yeah, lovely.
I wonder if they still got it 40 odd years later.
It's probably rotting away somewhere, you know.
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah.
Right. I went to a club once that had a bunch of those kind of cocktail table games, like a nightclub in Manchester called Club Code. Would have been some point in the late 90s. But yeah, it was just, you know, have a few beers and play a game. It was really, really good fun. It just made it that much more interesting on that kind of format.
I used to be mates with a kid. I used to be mates with a kid when I was about 10 or 11 who had a tabletop Space Invaders machine in his bloody bedroom, and never let the rest of us live it down. But it was like, oh my God, how have you got this in your bedroom? You know, why have you got this in your bed? His parents were like massively wealthy and everything, but it was like so jealous. But it was so cool as well. It was great, and he didn't appreciate it at all. So,
Sam, do you mean are those the tables you sit down and put your drink on and actually play the game underneath? Like,
yeah, that's the ones I'm thinking of. Actually, got the game kind of on top. So the 2-player, one at either end. You can put your drink on the side and play a 2-player game.
Because I remember playing Asteroids on the table such like that. I mean the Atari version of Asteroids, and it was amazing. I thought this was, me showing my age, this was 82, 83. And this is probably before I had a Spectrum, because I had my Acorn in 82, 83 first, 83 when it came out, and then I went over to the Spectrum. So yeah, that brings back memories. Well, Graeme, you survived your interview, so well done.
The grilling. But aliens coming down and playing Spectrum games.
I hope you enjoyed it. You're welcome to stay. Please stay with us for the last hour. And I'm going to turn this one off, and then I'm going to load the next one up, which is going to be the Load ZX Awards. So I'm going to get that done as soon as I can. But anyway, so back to us for a little while I get the next PowerPoints. I know it's death by PowerPoint, sorry. Sorted out. It's the only way I could show it. But thanks very much, Graeme, for turning up.
Welcome. Thanks for having me, guys.
I'm going to open up to the chat while I sort out this this now PowerPoint, because I've got to make sure it's all working. Chat, if you've got any questions for our guest, please type them in. I know Tez probably has got some about Trapdoor or Super Gran, or I don't know. He surprises me anytime with questions. Anyone else who's in the chat, please send your questions to Graeme right now, and I will put them up and then see what we get. If not, Sam and Martin think of some, and I will. I'm going to get this PowerPoint sorted out. It won't take me long.
Well, actually, I wanted to ask Sam something, because I'm very interested in the art that he's got on the wall behind him. So on the left, I can see it looks like the Renegade poster. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah. One of my favourites.
Yeah, great game, Renegade. Yeah, infamously not smashed either by Crash. It was on the cover, but it got 89%. I remember opening up and thinking,
disgusting.
What the hell? And they gave Target Renegade 1% more to make sure that it got smashed. Was it any better? I don't know. But anyway, what are the other two posters you got there, Sam?
Well, on the right-hand side, that's the front cover of Carrier Command, which was.
Ooh, we're going to feature that later.
Okay, oh right, cool. Okay. Maybe we shouldn't talk too much about it, but yeah, that was one of my favourite later games. And actually, I was going to say that when we were talking about games that we were impressed by the technical specs for earlier. Yeah, I mean it was mind blowing. But anyway, I probably shouldn't talk too much about that now if it's going to come up later. And the one in the middle, yeah, I don't know if you spotted it. I spanned the Speccy sites with it a bit. That was my own creation that I came up with. It's a series of graphics from. I lost count of the number of games I put in it, but I kind of turned it into a big scene. I called it Speccy Island, and yeah, I spent who knows how many hours on it last year, putting it together in kind of different layers, and yeah, just really enjoyed it.
They're all from different sort of the levels that you put. So like the sea ones are all like water based or something, isn't it? They're all
exactly. They all have a theme in each layer. So yeah, exactly. So the bottom part was I think I call it the cavern or something like that, and it's all jet set
underwater or underground stuff, wasn't it?
Exactly. A myth on the right there. There are a couple of little spacey things there. Cybernoid should be in space, but it just seemed a little bit more interesting down there. The two Dans there, Dynamite Dan and Dan Dare, with their larger kind of, I don't know what you call them, antagonists, I suppose, put behind them. And then there's a little transition kind of between the layers. So a fellow from Saboteurs kind of going up through the barrel there in the ground to the sea, and we've got Dizzy and a number of underwater items. Randomly a bit of Sabre Wolf just because it kind of felt like a good thing to put there. Got Bomb Jack, bit of IK Plus in the middle. That was one of my favourites, and just really pretty bit of artwork in the game there. I spent many an hour listening to the.
It came out really well as a poster sort of T-shirt as well, though, didn't it? You put it on a T-shirt, didn't you?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it worked really well.
A couple of folk by it. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. Thanks for asking me. Yeah, I enjoyed doing
it. Lovely.
So we've got some comments then. Let's go through them quickly. Incentive held another contest featuring the Ket trilogy adventures. First prize was a VHS recorder. I wrote in and had a reply for Incentive saying I wasn't the winner, but I was the fourth person. That must be awful, saying you came fourth. It's like
yeah, it wasn't good. But that almost got into ZX Nightmares, that game, because first of all it was called the Ket trilogy, which kind of possibly referred to or sounded like a potential drug as well. But the fact that the winner was I can't remember the name of the guy, but he was like a prominent writer at the time of in magazines, and he kind of he's obviously a bit of an adventure specialist, so there's probably, I imagine there's nothing going on, but it was a few eyebrows raised about that at the time. And there's a picture in the press of him looking so honoured because he's got this like huge, nice, literally like this big this VHS recorder, and you look at it now and think it's so quaint, and you could play like one movie at a time on it, and now on our phones we can play like literally any movie in the whole world. And it's quite funny. And I think there was another one, the guy who did Splat, he won a £500 prize or something like that. There was a guy on Splat who got the high score in Splat. So yeah, it was all a bit nebulous, how they sort of adjudicated this sort of thing, but it was probably quite a good promotional thing, I imagine. There were a lot of competitions back then, weren't there?
Just remember how valuable a proper VHS machine would have been in those days as well.
You're probably talking £400 or £500, aren't you? I imagine.
Yeah. That was a lot of money then.
There we go. Don't worry, Kevin and Win. I haven't skipped your questions. I just put this up because this is what Graeme was talking about just now.
Tom Frost, it was Tom Frost. Yeah, Win's right. Yeah.
There we go. So we got maybe three questions coming from the chat. Tez is the first one. What's your all-time favourite load screens?
Gosh, there were so many, weren't there? But one of my favourite artists was a guy called Mark Jones from Ocean. Mark R. Jones, I think, actually, because there was another Mark Jones around the time. And he did the loading screen for Whizball, which I always thought was amazing. I mean, great, obviously, design from the Sensible guys to make that game. And I think it originated on the Commodore 64. I know we're mentioning that machine a little bit too much this evening, but yeah,
Yes.
it was fantastic screen, that one. Mark did a lot of good works, and another guy that I really liked the work of was Simon Butler as well, his colleague at Ocean. There was always a particular art, and Ocean just seemed to nail it. There was another chap called, was it FD Thorpe? He did a load of loading screens as well. They just seem to have good talent for those for that art.
He did like Green Beret and stuff, I think.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
He's got a sort of signature on most of the screens, hasn't he?
That's right. Yeah.
Next question. Any idea how Death Star Interceptor avoided copyright trouble? Too small to be noticed?
Yes, I know how they avoided copyright trouble, because they licensed the music, the theme, rather than anything else, and I guess that helped them avoid any trouble, because obviously it had like a TIE fighter in it and a Death Star in it as well, didn't it? So yeah, I think that was how they did that. CRL were famous for that as well. They licensed the music to Blade Runner, yeah, and that meant that they so all the replicants were renamed Repladroids, I think, or something like that. They couldn't actually use the name of, but they could have the music, which wasn't really much of a plus on the Spectrum, was it? But there you go.
Angelis on the Spectrum. Yeah.
I mean, maybe in 128Ks on the AY, but in the beeper it probably would. I can't really remember. Must have played that Blade Runner game at some point, but is it tune any good on the beeper?
Good question from Win for us all, actually. Genre Spectrum games. So you know mine, obviously, because I've done a whole 2-year series about them. So I won't need to say mine.
That's a tricky one, because as I mentioned earlier, growing up, I loved my shoot 'em ups. You know, if I could shoot stuff, then I was happy.
Nothing wrong with shoot 'em ups, Graeme.
No. Many time back in the day, I would pick up a bang average shoot 'em up instead of something a bit more original, just because I like to shoot things. I mean, Kronos is a great example. 199 game from Mastertronic, very limited. Very average, but I absolutely loved it. But I guess probably my all-time favourite is like arcade type strategy games, which I played a lot more since then, and I really do enjoy them. I do like the odd sport game as well, of course.
Martin, Sam?
Difficult for me. I liked a good shoot 'em up. I won't deny that. But I liked games with a bit more thought to them as well, sort of the action strategy, fantasy, sort of role playing type stuff. So, but games that you could lose yourself in a bit. So your elites, your drillers, your mercenaries. Oh, that's a game. That sort of game. Games where you can go out and do your own thing. Lords of Midnight. That sort of stuff. That's my sort of game. But on the other side, I loved stuff like Renegade, The Great Escape, stuff like that. Those were great games.
Well, I would put Great Escape in with those other games you mentioned, because that was definitely a game you could lose yourself in.
Oh, absolutely, definitely.
Apart from the fact you're a prisoner, obviously.
You're a prisoner, but there are so many ways you could get out. But it was down to you how you did that, and that was the good bit. They did that so well. That was such a good game.
Yeah,
wonderful game.
Escaping yourself from another world, basically. Great Escape. Sorry for the pun, Sam.
Yeah, Another World. There was a game, but anyway, that was basically a different format.
Wasn't on the Spectrum.
Amiga.
I mean, I was going to say card games, if you can call that a genre, but there was only really one that I played in that.
Strip poker, come on.
Moving on swift. No, I think shoot 'em ups actually seem to work particularly well on the Speccy. Perhaps it was the fact that you didn't necessarily need to have a lot of colours, but it helped to have a lot of speed, a lot of things on the screen, and the Speccy kind of excelled at speed really in those days. But also beat 'em ups. I mean, Renegade obviously is one of my favourites. I think in later computers and consoles, I was a big fan of beat 'em ups. Street Fighter 2 was one of my all-time favourites, and even the Tekken games. But yeah, I think it all started with the likes of Renegade, and I mean, actually, I didn't mind Street Fighter, the original Street Fighter on the Speccy. I remember playing the one in the arcade with a great big kind of, you thump the buttons on it, and arcade adventure kind of stuff. Actually, stuff like Dizzy and the nighttime games. A lot of value. You're saying earlier about getting lost in games. I think you could in those, and of course the likes of Carrier Command, where that was, you could just roam around for ages, flying around in the mantas and driving about in the boats. I think those kind of free world sort of games were fascinating.
Indeed.
Sorry, that wasn't one really. Go on, Mark.
Well, I was just going to say to end this little bit. Win says you can hacked into games, stuck, added a poke to make them easier. Yeah, I did that a lot. I must admit I did. I think a lot of us did, to be honest. We wanted to see what the games, especially my reviews nowadays, because I'm so hopeless at of the old games, that I put a poke in and say, these are the end screens. Because if I was doing my normal run through of a game, it probably lasts 20 seconds. That wouldn't be a very good video, would it? So I have to put a poke in to make it go longer. Kevin's put Lords of Midnight, great game. Doomdot's Revenge, even better. Astonishing, it's only 48k. Another astonishing 48k game.
Just phenomenal in 48k. When you look at if you actually look at the, you can see the what do you call it? Disassembly. They've disassembled, like Lords of Midnight and Doomdot's Revenge on like GitHub and stuff. And if you look at what Michael Singleton was doing, it's so clever, but it's so obvious, and it's just brilliant. Just fitting all these tables and things and algorithms into 40 odd K was just phenomenal. And getting a game around it. That's the other bit. It isn't just getting the mechanics. It's building a game around it.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's another one. Of course, Mike Singleton no longer with us as well. Sadly, he passed away a few years ago.
It's a shame the third one was never finished.
Comment from Win. I played Manic Mine so many times I did eventually complete it. Level 19 solo janitor is tough going, but just managed it. Well done.
I've never done that. I've never done that one without pokes. That's the one where if the generator hits you, it reduces your oxygen as well really quickly, isn't it? So. And
then Tez being very honest here says I've never used pokes. Now, if you believe that, you believe that my side Oxford are going to win the championship when they're second to bottom at the moment.
Is he still talking about Spectrum games though?
Wow.
Without using feet. So we're going to skip over now to, because I'm noticing the time, we're going to go over to now last week. There was the Load ZX Spectrum 2024 awards. If you don't know who Load ZX Spectrum are, they're an amazing group of people in Portugal, based in Portugal. They do a lot of Spectrum streams on Twitch. Definitely worth going and watch them if you can, because they do game challenges. I've seen them all play Chucky Egg. They've done many other games as well. Bomberjack was definitely one. But last Saturday afternoon, so this time last week, they did their 2024 awards. Now, this is for homebrew games. So if you don't know what the term homebrew games means, it means basically games that are made by people, fans of Spectrum, done now, basically. And these were all 2025 games. And we have got the Hall of Fame game right at the end, which someone has already mentioned what the game is, but we will go back to it in a minute. So the best loading screen went to, you'll notice quite a few of these games have won 2 or 3 awards because they are amazing. I have got some gameplay. Not me playing them, because again, I would only last 20 seconds. I've asked Tez, because he has played a few of them. So I borrowed Tez's gameplay, and he's lasted longer than 20 seconds. So that's
21
good.
seconds.
So 21 seconds, yes. So Symmetry won the best loading screen. There is the loading screen there. Of course, I can't show you the loading screen because I've got an emulator and it goes through the loading screens in about 2 seconds flat. So that's the actual best loading screen. So it looks really cool there. I've got limited screenshots for some of these because, again, not all of them are freely available. But Symmetry, well deserved. So the second award, there's 13 awards, I think, in total. And they did, I think the ceremony went on for about 3 hours, but it was very good. Cubics. Now you're going to hear this a lot. This is an amazing game. It's all in 3D. You won't see it much there, but we have got some gameplay a bit later. It's a 3D Spectrum game. You actually move around a tower. I can't show you the sound. The sound is amazing. We have got, I'll just give you a bit of a warning here. When we're showing the gameplay, Tez will be playing it and then he will make some comments. So we will hear the famous Tez in this stream. Tez, you thought you were going to be silent. You're not. So Cubics won the best sound. I'm just going to put a comment there. I finished the Symmetry without cheats. Symmetry is my favorite homebrew game of 2025. There we go. So congratulations to Cubics. And then go to the next one when it works. Now, best graphics. This is actually a video, so this might work. It might not. I'm just going to try to make this work. Was a Symmetry. So if you just bear with me for a second, there we go. You can probably barely hear it, but it is moving. Hopefully,
see it. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Sadly, I can't turn it up, but this is Tez doing the gameplay.
Shall I do the sounds? Pew, pew,
pew, pew.
You have to wonder what this sort of thing would have been received.
Yeah,
let's say this had come out in 88, 89. How would this have been received? This would have been crazy.
They'd have loved it. Yeah.
This would have been a crash smash.
Definitely.
Or close to it at least. Bloody hell, mute me.
is this 48 or 128? Do you know?
I think it's 128. Tez will back me up there. He played it. So, oops, sorry. As soon as I click on the screen, it goes. There we go. Yeah, I've got the famous. I was recording this live, and it will come back in a minute. There we go. Because I wanted to show you a bit more of it.
Look at that. Look at parallax scrolling as well.
It's incredible, isn't it? Yeah.
Richard has just said, sorry, Ricardo, it's just said it runs on 48K.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Shame you can't hear the sound because the sound is unbelievable good. It's good, really good.
I wonder how they got around the.
Look at that! It's got masking. It's got masking as well, and the speed.
You can see the little bit of black behind it. It's not,
yes,
it's really
that's the masking, and that normally has quite a performance hit, but it's that's exceptionally good.
Can I give you a shock that this didn't win Game of the Year? I'll show you what won Game of the Year later.
It reminds me a lot of. Do you guys remember a game called Savage on the Spectrum?
Yeah, yeah.
By Firebird, I think it was, and it was made by Nick Bruti, the artist. He's the artist, and I can't remember the name of the guy. He was quite famous at the time. He did a lot of games. He's done a lot of work since as well. But he Dave Perry, that's it, and they did that, and it reminds me a lot of that.
Yeah, and Extreme and Dan Dare 3, all of them seem to have a similar kind of just, tons of colour.
Yeah, incredible.
That's it. That's the video. So I'm glad that works. Shame you can't hear the sound. We'll try to see if I can get around that next time.
Mark, can you possibly go back to the loading screen for that? Because I just want to make a comment about that. Because we're after 9 o'clock now, aren't we? And now I've just worked out where they got the ass of asymmetry from.
Yeah, it seems to be.
This is one of the high res that that you couldn't get back
She looks
then.
like she's in a bikini.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
I guess it must be hot, kind of, jumping around doing that stuff. She doesn't want to be wearing these kind of, big
Yeah,
heavy
Sam, that's what it is.
practical, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, best demo. I could not show this. It's an amazing demo. If you get the chance to see it on YouTube, it's a bit scary. So luckily it's after 9 o'clock. But it's amazing they created this on a 48K or 128K spectrum. If you get a chance, it's called Ad Mortem. You can easily find it. Goes on for about 4 minutes. Well deserved demo. There were some amazing demos they were showing in the awards, and they had to pick a winner. And of course, this one was the one that won. So congratulations to the guys who did that. Made by some of the Zoggia team. Yes, that's it. The Asymmetry was made by them. They made some amazing, great games. They still do. So the next award was Basic Game, written in Basic, obviously. Bolalela 5. I can't really say much about it, but that's the game. you can get it online if you want to play it. So that's congratulations to the winners there. Perseus. Now this is another game that's going to be mentioned quite a bit. This was, as you can see, best Spanish language game. I've got no actual gameplay of this one, I'm afraid, but it's a platform game and it is amazing. I've seen YouTube gameplays of it, but obviously I couldn't use it because I have to ask permission and all that. But it won the best Spanish language game. This is one that will win multiple awards, and you've seen the other two that have won multiple awards already. So that's a Spanish language game. Has anyone heard
one
Perseus?
where he flings his head off? I seem to
I think so.
Watched some gameplay of a similar recent kind of homebrew game. Yeah, maybe not that one. I don't think I'm making it up.
Don't worry.
It might not be this game.
Best Portuguese Brazilian language game. Obviously, you can get it in English as well. Echoes of Atlantis. I've seen a couple of screenshots of this. You can get this on what's that independent website? Itch. Oh, it's not called Itch. Something similar to that. Yeah, you can get this on there. You can get all the others on this as well. Perseus looks interesting. I love fantasy games. It's worth looking at if you do like it. I've seen actual moving screens of it and it looks great. All these are well deserved, obviously. So Cubics. Now, again, another game that's going to be featured a lot, and this has got the good old Tez playing this, and now see how amazing this game is. So I'm going to try to keep quiet. So you might not hear Tez, or no, you probably can't hear Tez. I don't know. Can you?
I can't.
No,
that's good then. Tez wanted to be muted anyway.
Poor Tez.
It's smooth, isn't it? It does make me feel just slightly seasick going up and down, but it's so smooth.
It gets better. Yeah, I can hear Tez. So Tez, your wish is my command. You're moving it anyway. There's great sound for this. Sadly, I can't get the sound to work on these videos, just the moving pictures. He's just saying it gives you the ability to pick up boxes, as you can do. So obviously the aim of the game is going up the tower, but it gets better.
It's a great. Sorry, go on.
Go on. No, go on.
I was just going to say it's a great kind of learning curve, isn't it? Where it sort of teaches you how to play it.
There we go.
Oh, sorry, I spoke over the. There we go. That's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, there you go.
That's 3D.
Nebulous Part 2.
Yes, of course, yeah. And that learning curve, we didn't really get that very much in the day, did you? You were chucked in the deep end most games.
That's it. You'd have to go and read the instructions, which you didn't,
here's
you didn't have.
Here's a completely different style of game you've never played before. Off you go. Yeah.
So that's the video for. I'll just show you comments. Good evening, ZX Spectrum Load. How are you doing? They're trying to play Cubics next week. So Spectrum Load is one of our Portuguese friends. Hello. They're trying to play Cubics this week. So there you go. I think it's Thursday night when they play this on Twitch. So it's worth having a go, worth watching. They are a great group. I'm hoping to bring the ZX Load guys on to maybe a future experience stream, maybe in May or June. Any kid these days could play this, not knowing it's playing on a 40-year-old platform. Very true.
Yeah, that's right.
And just when we thought everything had been invented, this Marvel appears and leaves us speechless, pushing Sinclair's machine beyond its limits to places no other 8-piece systems has ever reached. So sounds like some film. That yeah. So exactly true.
Reminded me of a beer commercial.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
Castlemaine 4X, was it? Freshest parts of the con.
Piss water beer from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. Must play this puzzle game. It looks really addictive. Win. It's a great game. It's not my type of game, but I can appreciate how good it is. Yes, it's around to be online now. We played this on a Thursday every February. Indeed, there we go. And good to see you, Doughnut. Good to see you guys again. Hope you're all well. Great. Congratulations for a great awards last week, by the way, guys. It was very good, very well presented. And congratulations to all the winners. Talk about winners. We've still got a few more screens to show who won what. We're nearly there, though. And so, oops. Perseus won Best Platform Game. So if you are a platform game fanatic, then you would love Perseus. It's worth... thanks in the name of the team. That's not a problem. Best platform game. Yeah, definitely. And again, you can find actual gameplay on YouTube. I just couldn't find any that I could use, if that makes any sense. Ricardo, in any other beat system has reached Cubic, we have a computer console. Let me know. Thanks. The prosecutor officer rested. Yeah, indeed. Cubics is amazing for the dare I say the limitations of the Spectrum 48. It's not so limited anymore. They're making games beyond the limits of the 48K. And if you say to someone, you're playing this on a 48K computer, they'd be just looking at you thinking, again, you're drunk again.
Yeah, less memory than your average email.
Yeah. Great, and thanks for the info. No worries.
Let's remember, Mark, that we fitted 8 galaxies and 2,000 planets into 48K of memory as well.
Indeed,
yeah.
I mean, they all look very similar, but
yeah. I remember the story
but they all had different descriptions.
Indeed, yeah.
And everything. All
elite on the 32K,
all procedurally generated. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Just beautiful.
Okay, so we're going through them quickly. Best text adventure went to Echoes of Atlantis. Again, if you're a text adventure fan, definitely go and play this. It's well deserved. It's second award, this one, of course. And best adventure game, I wanted Sinclair City to win. It was nominated in so many categories and it kept losing to Perseus and the Symmetry, but it won best adventure strategy game, and it's just being reviewed in the last Crash magazine, and it was a crash smash basically. And it's again another amazing game you can get on that each website. I think it's for €2.50. It's definitely worth getting into. Again, there's gameplays on YouTube if you want to play it, but it's worth looking at. It's very colourful game. I can't really say what it is really. It's a mixture of everything, I guess. Has anyone heard of that? Sinclair City?
No.
Yeah. So
going by the loading screen, it's a bit cold where that lady is.
Yeah, it's a bit, isn't it? She must be the twin sister from Game Over.
That's what I was thinking as well. Yeah. Although she's got it covered up.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, it was.
Right, we have got gameplay of this because this is Tez playing Next Point. This is the best Spectrum Next game of 2025. So this is sporting game. So let's have a quick look at this. Obviously, you can't hear it, but Tez was saying how great a player he was. Sorry, Tez. So they're selecting. He's selecting.
John McEnrage. I love that. John McEnrage.
The thing you can't hear. Sadly, you can't hear when each point there is actually computerized speech saying 30, 15, 40 love, which is amazing.
This reminds me of Super Tennis on the Super Nintendo, which is obviously 16-bit. I mean, it's quite amazing to get this on an 8-bit.
I think it captures the spirit of Match Point very well, which was obviously the classic tennis game on the Spectrum. And Victor Murillo, who's the developer, he worked for a Spanish developer back in the day, and he actually was producing a tennis game for the Spectrum back in the day, but it got cancelled. I can't remember why. I think it was in the early 90s, so presumably the company that was behind it didn't feel it was commercially viable anymore. But he used his experience to make Next Point, and it's a lovely game. Works really simply, but I think that's what makes it fun.
Have you noticed Federer's name?
Yeah, he was going to add some more tennis players in the next update. I don't know if he's done that, or playable tennis.
Fed Express.
But yeah, Fed Express, yeah, good name that. Yeah.
If you get a chance to hear
let us not forget the best bat and ball game, in my opinion, on the Spectrum, which is ping pong.
Oh yeah,
that was brilliant, wasn't it? Imagine.
Yeah.
Epic, and the music as well was just superb.
Fantastic game. Again, very simple, but a great game.
But the way they did it was just so playable.
Floating bats,
yeah. But it
apparently
the arcade
game. The arcade game had floating hands as well, apparently, but I've never played it. So.
Okay, so the sound to this is amazing. If you can go to Roland's Reviews, which is Tez's YouTube channel, you'll hear this and hear the sound, because these are all recorded voices saying 1511 fault and everything. As you can see, Tez is struggling a bit, but to be fair, I will struggle on these tennis games as well. So be interesting if Tez and me played one.
I don't know if you know, guys, as well, but he has digitized. I don't know if it's on this version, but he's digitized several people in the scene into the crowd. So if you look closely, there's Rick Dickinson, I think, and who's the Canadian guy that does the reviews of Next Games? He's like very effervescent. Is it TJ Ferreira? He's in there as well, and I must modestly say myself is in there somewhere as well. So he sort of like did a little homage to some of the people in the next scene, and Phoebus Dokos is there as well, I think.
I think the only sport where Spectrum has a weak point is basketball. Yeah, that's true, actually. It's a shame that baseball maybe as well.
Yeah, I think baseball by Imagine was okay, but they did a basketball game that wasn't very good, and there was a game called 1-on-1, which is in ZX Nightmares, which is absolute terrible. When the players get close together, which obviously they do a lot in basketball, it just becomes like a horrible mess. So yeah, he's right. Basketball never really had a great game on Spectrum.
So I think I vaguely remember one on it was Game Set and Match, the sports collection.
Yeah,
I think there was a sort of half playable basketball game in that. I can't remember what it was.
It's probably the Imagine one.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned Bomb Jack. This is why it was in the Hall of Fame. This beat 8 or 9 other classic games, including Formula 1 and other games. You can still see the awards, by the way, on the Load ZX Spectrum YouTube. It's still there.
Yeah, I love Bomb Jack. It's still fun to play now, isn't it? With turbo mode on, of course.
This is Tez again.
Shall we move on, Mark? Just in the interest of time.
So just one left. Game of the year. Cubics won it, and there is the actual result of the other games who came where. So Cubic won it, Symmetry came second, Perseus third, Sinclair City, and then some other games. So well deserved to Cubics for winning Game of the Year, and you can see why, because of the 3D and everything. It's amazing. So yeah, there we go. So that is the Load ZX Spectrum 2025 awards. I thought it'd be great to show you who actually won the awards. Some people like World Series basketball, but never got to be good at it. Probably like me. So the last bit of tonight, because we've got about 15 minutes left, is we're going to go back to the best games which we featured in the last stream and the ones that we missed, and just quickly go through them. So I'm just going to obviously get it done. So if the guys want to go back to chatting again, I will get this sorted. Sorry.
It's all right.
Let's.
So in context, Graeme, we each picked like 2 favorite games, and we were going to talk about them. So we did our top games on the last stream, and then we ran out of time. So we're now moving on to our sort of second and third
Okay. I'll be interested to hear what you guys come up with then. Yeah. I hope they're in ZX Streams.
Yeah, some of them are.
I think we got a good taste of the games we picked.
Yeah, I think we had a worst one as well, which is also in your nightmares.
It's a shared experience.
Yeah, it's a shared experience.
It has been quite an eye opener how many more there are available for Nightmares Volume 2, I must say. But there were thousands of Spectrum games, weren't there? So
there were, yeah.
And I guess you could pick all sorts that were, pretty cheap or just included on collections, basic games that probably no one's heard of, or maybe some of the ones on that. What was that collection? Was it 100 games on there or something like that? There was about a tenner, and it came with a watch.
That was cassette 50. Yeah.
Cassette 50. Yeah.
Oh god.
But have you included any of those in?
Worth more than the games.
Yeah.
So, just for Graeme, I'm just going through the ones that we've gone through already very quickly because we've seen these ones. Now, this is the wrong screenshot. I know from last time. So we got Target Renegade. We got Trapdoor.
Right.
This is all videos, but I won't show the videos today because we saw them last time. Formula One was mine.
Great game.
Morton was our special guest from the last stream, so we asked him to nominate some as well. There's Martin's Elite.
Nice, yeah.
Morgan put Dragon Torch, as his choice.
Yep.
And Sam, Carrier Command. There we go.
Classic. Yep.
Yeah.
So I think that's the ones we saw. So we're now going to go to the ones we probably haven't seen. So we asked to choose the second one. Oh, Tez chose Hammer Fist, which is quite a more recent 1990 game. So very good. So the second choices were Chucky Egg. Had to be Chucky Egg for me. The reason being it was probably the first game I ever completed, even though I completed it actually on the Acorn Electron, not the Spectrum. But I do appreciate the Spectrum version. Again, it's interesting what you said about the jumping onto ladders and stuff. That's probably why I prefer the Electron better than the Spectrum, because I could do it much easier on the Electron. If that makes any sense. But yeah, Chucky Egg. What can we say about it? Great platform game, probably one of the best. And I was quite shocked that Chucky Egg 2 actually got a better rating Crash than Chucky Egg 1. Which was
I don't know what they were smoking that day.
Probably £50 notes that they've been sent.
Yeah.
I merely jest.
So Martin chose Fairlight.
Oh, very good
choice.
I did. So good Fairlight was in 1985. I had two sort of wow moments. Elite was one of them, and Fairlight was the other. Elite captured everything that I ever wanted in a game, but Fairlight also went, "Oh, here you go. Here's some other stuff that you love." Just the whole the graphics, the imagery, the puzzles, just everything. It was just so, and the music, the synthesized music at the start, it just blew me away. The box, the whole presentation, just everything around it, it just blew my mind at the time. And I thought, how can this get any better than this? And obviously it did, but it was just so good. And the second one was just a bit shit, to be absolutely fair. I don't think it was ever really finished properly. But this was just standout. And I first saw it on a demo in a computer shop when I was going to school one day. In '85, and I just stood and looked through the window at this and went, "Whoa! How can you have this on a Spectrum?"
And I'd like to point out as well, yes, the game is great, but that's a really good loading screen. I've forgotten how good the loading screen is. Some brilliant perspective there, the way that screen's designed. So yeah,
it tells you basically where to go. The loading screen has the location of the tomb that you need to get to in it.
Oh wow!
It's the bird
But you didn't know that at the time. You only knew that afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just phenomenal what he did with that Bojangbird.
I'm just going to say one more thing about Fairlight. Actually, the main character there does look a little bit like you, Mark.
Who? That?
The guy in the game. I think it's a moustache.
Oh, it was more of a beard, that, isn't it?
That looks like a little moustache.
Oh, you mean a monk? Monk in the book?
No, the main character in the game. I just thought he's got the same kind of.
Oh, okay. Oh, him. Oh, yeah.
He does a bit. Yeah, you're right.
I can see that. I can see that. Ah, yeah. So Win put a comment, obviously, which Martin just mentioned. Fairlight's okay, but Bojangbird was a bit miffed that the sequel was incomplete. So
I think there was a lot of shenanigans going on behind the scenes on that one. You'd have to Google it to find out for sure. But there was some sort of disagreement between The Edge and Bo about that. I'm not going to say because I don't know. So, but yeah, for sure. But yeah.
So Morgan put Night Law, of course, another classic game. Ultimate made loads of classics, didn't they? They made one or two not so good, but the majority were really good. So that was a great game. So again, I've got all the reviews there. So
that's the reason. That's the reason why Match Day 2 came out 3 years later, because John Rittman looked at Night Law and thought, "My God, that looks amazing." So he did Batman and Head Over Heels.
So we've got some honourable mentions. So I'm going to mention some honourable games, obviously, that weren't mentioned. So obviously, Dave Thompson Decathlon has to be mentioned. The good old famous joystick killer. That literally everyone who's got a Spectrum knows about it and how great it was and how addictive it was and how many joysticks and keyboards got broken. So the manufacturers of keyboards and joysticks would like to send their thanks to the makers of Dave Thompson Decathlon as well. For
what many people. All the games. So there was Decathlon, Super Test. There was at least one.
Olympic Challenge was the third one.
There was the third one. Yeah, there's three of them. Yeah. They weren't as good as this one. They were decent, but they weren't as good as one. I think the only one rival to Decathlon was Hypersports.
Hypersports is
very good.
Yeah.
And Hypersports was crash smashed, whereas this one was another infamous non-crash smash, getting only
82%. Yeah, one of the all-time best sellers, of course, this one. And Dave Thompson, and if anyone asks, Dave Thompson has actually played Dave Thompson Decathlon. They showed him playing it.
And he's often asked, you owe me a joystick.
Yeah.
We're often told, you owe me a joystick.
We've got three more left. Manic Miner has to be mentioned as well, of course. The game that, again, is up there with Decathlon and the game that everyone mentions. I already stressed early in the stream, shock horror, I'm not a Manic Miner fan, but I do appreciate how great it is. How many people loved it.
Launched 1 million speckies.
Exactly.
Easily.
And made by, of course, Matthew Smith, who is genius, an actual genius. He then made Jet Set Willy, of course, later on, which was, I never knew Jet Set Willy was actually the sequel until I read about it. I thought they were two separate games. Yeah, again, I wasn't a fan of Manic Miner. It's just probably why. Manic Miner. So
technically, they are two separate games, Mark.
Okay, there you go. I can be thankful there. So Manic Miner, then all-time classic, has to be mentioned. And then we got RoboCop. Now, one of the more recent ones in Spectrum. A lot of people love this. One of the best-selling Spectrum games also. I think it stayed in the charts for 1.5 years. Just like the films, RoboCop 2 and RoboCop 3 especially 3, aren't very good. But after saying that, RoboCop 3, the game is probably a lot better than the actual film. If you ever want to go and see the film, good luck.
It's rubbish,
like
isn't it?
It's nothing like the original. It's basically Disney meets RoboCop.
Yeah. The point with the first one was that it followed the arcade game, and it was a pretty faithful version of the arcade game, and that was why it was so loved, and it was really good. I mean, it's hugely impressive again for the Spectrum for 48K. My God.
Yeah.
I remember the 128K tune though as well was.
Oh yeah, yeah. Then you're into multi-load and into single loads.
Routine, and those kind of like where the action kind of changed to was it level 2 and level 4 maybe, where you got there was a shooting thing and you had to try and get the the fella between through the skirt and the bit where his big thing into the machine, and you choose a identity face thing.
Yeah. And the last one. The last, you'd be all glad to hear this is the last slide on PowerPoint today, anyway. The last mention is for, I had to put this in. Sorry. I had to put this in. I've done very well not mentioning any football games tonight, really.
Yes,
I've done very well. Yeah. When you've done a series for 2 years, it's drilled in your mind. Football Manager. Football Manager is the father of all the football games, especially management games, since 1982. So you wouldn't have Football Manager, you wouldn't have Championship Manager now, you wouldn't have Football Manager, the new version of, well, we won't mention Football Manager 26 for obvious reasons. But yeah, this is the godfather and all. And I finally met Kevin Toms at Crash. What a nice guy. He's just as tall as me. Crikey, he's actually a bit taller than me. I was quite shocked how tall he is. I'm 6'3". So yeah, Football Manager, it had to be mentioned. I noticed a lot in the magazines that the Football Management games don't get really high reviews, with the exception maybe of Match Day 2. Football Manager 2 actually I think did pretty well in the reviews. But yeah, you got to say a lot about the actual Football Manager game. Load ZX is here as well. You've missed the whole 20 odd minutes of us going through the awards. But thanks for joining us. It's great to have you here. It's great to have all the chat here, by the way. I hope you are enjoying. We're near the end, so we're going to have sort of like a summary now, because I'm just looking at the time. I'm going to try my best to end actually at 10 o'clock, not like 4 weeks ago when we ended 45 minutes late. But we're actually doing very well for time. So,
but just to say as well, sorry, Mark, on the Football Manager there, that's a 1982 game effectively, written in 82, and it's in BASIC. Yeah, and it's for what it's doing, I think it's hugely impressive. Shocked it only got 7 out of 10. There are games written after that in machine code that don't do it nearly as well.
I know. I've reviewed about 120 football games on my YouTube channel, plug, and I've seen some games done in 1988, 89, which are worse than this. And this is 1982. Well, this of course is the 48K version. He did do the ZX81 version before this, which is amazing to look at.
In 16K. Which is even more impressive.
Yeah. And on the ZX81, and it's amazing he did that, and he should be proud of what he done, because he brought joy to a lot of people playing this game, and still do now. You see there's a Football Manager Revisited site playing what Football Manager would look like now on the 128K, and that's an amazing game as well. But everyone's got to say thanks to Kevin Toms and creating this game, because I wouldn't be a football management fan at all if I didn't have this game.
So
just to deviate very slightly, Mark, and just to raise a slightly hopefully interesting point. There was obviously ZX Spectrum Chess on the ZX81, which was written in 870 bytes.
Wow!
So it was a full version of chess, but in less than 1K.
Incredible. Yeah.
That's definitely up there in one of the achievements, must be.
How do you even start that?
Yeah.
Well, it's genius.
I struggle to write the rules in that.
Yeah. But anyway, that actually comes to the end what I've got planned. So we've done well, everyone, to survive. So thanks very much, everyone, for being here. Especially a big thank you to Graeme for being here.
You're welcome, mate.
2.5 hours, literally. Time has gone quick.
It's been extremely interesting, Graeme. Thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome. Welcome, Mark. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Awesome live stream. Really enjoyed being on tonight. Thanks, Win. Thanks all the chat for being on. Now there's some news. There's there is live stream 4, Speccy Experience live stream 4 next week, next Saturday. Yep, you've only got 7 days to wait, because good old Tez is going to be hosting duties, and he's got some special guests lining up. Richard Langford, is that right?
That's right.
Yeah, and he is another expert doing Spectrum games, looking with a bit of a modern twist to it. Definitely come and watch that. Tez will be hosting. I sadly won't be around, so you won't be having Death by PowerPoint, but don't worry, Death by PowerPoint's coming back when I'm doing the next hosting, because I know you like it.
You can't beat a good PowerPoint. You can't beat a good PowerPoint, Mark.
Does it show I'm a civil servant because I use PowerPoint? Thank you for all the kind words for the stream. I'm glad you liked it, but a big thank you first to Graeme for being here. Many thanks for being an amazing guest and answering all those questions, especially ones that came completely out of the blue, and watching your PowerPoint. Again, if you haven't seen the ZX, if you haven't got the ZX Dreams books and Nightmares when it comes out, then please get them. They are great books to get and brings back a lot of memories. I'll hand over now to Martin and Sam for any final words they would like to put in for the end of this. Martin, any final words? And you're on mute, by the way.
Sorry, I was on mute. No, not really. Just once again, thank you very much, Graeme. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, and great to hear your insights. And I hope your books do really well.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mark, for hosting, as always. Thank you, Sam. You've been tremendous, and thanks, Tez, as well, for his little inputs. And thanks to everyone else who's joined us tonight, and everyone that participates in this Speccy experience. And I hope you're all enjoying yourselves. So thank you.
Thank you, Martin. Sam?
Yeah, I don't know much to add, really. I'd echo all of that. Lovely to meet you, Graeme. Thanks for coming on. And
you, sir.
Cheers. Great to see all of you. Well, I'm imagining all of you watching over the other side of the screen as usual. So yeah, have a good rest of Saturday evening, everyone.
Thanks to everyone around the world. Portugal, Uruguay, first for me. UK, obviously. Thanks for everyone. Of course, you can watch the experience stream. It will be on my YouTube channel. Do a little bit of plug about my YouTube channel. I'm still doing the sporting arcade series. I'm still doing some odd football games, would you believe it? Currently going through the many cricket games now, which are great fun. So how's that? I can put that in. So again, congratulations to Tez for his 2,000 subs, which he achieved this week, and congratulations to the Speccy Experience Facebook for getting 5.5k now members. 500 in, Martin, was it 2 weeks? Did you say?
Just under 2 weeks. Another 500 in just under 2 weeks. Yeah. So
that's amazing. So thank you, everyone. Please, all guys, stay on, because we'll have a little chat at the end of the stream. Well, the stream has ended, but this is Doughnut saying goodbye, and hope to see you again. Well, I'll be back on probably 4 or 5 weeks' time. Tez will be on next week, so same time, same channel, same different host next week. And I'll see you all soon. Thanks for tuning in, and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
See you, folks.
Thanks,
Bye,
guys.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in.